Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Akshay Kumar. I am remotely working as an open source evangelist at Omondo and also founder of GrowIn community. So today we have an amazing guest, Mr. Atulpriya Sharma, who is a principal advocate developer and also a CNCF ambassador. So we sit around 2 hours and discussed a lot of amazing stuff from which you are going to learn many things. We have discussed about his journey, how he started his tech from the college early days and how he went into the CNCF. We talked about cloud native, open source, DevOps, and rise of AI and importance of communities and conferences. And if you're going to attend the KubeCon India Mumbai, we have discussed about that how anyone can utilize the maximum output from the attending these kind of conferences. So stay tuned. Let's get started over here. Okay. Hello, Atulpriya. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi. Thank you so much. I am doing well. And thank you so much for having me here. How about you?
All good, all good. I was super excited from the morning. Today I am going to talk with Atul Priya because I have learned really a lot from you since my DevRel journey started. So I was super excited, and during the work also I was thinking what questions I will ask so that I can learn a lot from you.
I think more than you, I was nervous. What are you going to ask me? But I'm sure we'll have fun.
Exactly. Of course, today, I'm going to learn a lot from your experience, that DevRel journey, and I know like every person have the unique story, unique journey, and so we have a lot to learn from everyone, right? So
Okay.
great. So let's start with the your introduction. As we all know that you are a principal developer advocate and CNC ambassador. So just from your mouth, your introduction.
Yeah, sure. I think whatever you said aptly defines what I do. So I work as a principal developer advocate at Improving, which is previously called as InfraCloud, and we got acquired by Improving last year. So it's been 1 year's post acquisition, and we are working with a lot of things internally to get things done. And a major part of my work involves three C's, like I says, code, content, and community. So a lot of my time is spent, working, writing code. Now, obviously, AI learning, picking up vibe coding, and doing all the stuff. But I do write code. A lot of content surrounding that. So a lot of written content, a lot of video content, and then obviously community. That's a bigger part or a larger part of it, which I also enjoy doing then. CNCF Ambassador, yes. I've been an ambassador for I think 3 years now, and it's been an exciting journey. That wasn't the plan initially when I started doing this, but then that happened, and as you say in life, कि एक बार कुछ होता है, you just wait, and it's a domino effect. उसके बाद चीजें होती रहती हैं, you just be there sort of, right? So I think that's what happened, and in terms of overall experience, if people want to know, because I know a lot of people are interested to know how long someone has spent in IT. So it's been about 12 years now that I've been into IT. And I started with a lot of different hats that I've worn over the years. I'll probably talk about it later. But I've done a bunch of things before coming here. And that's more of my professional avatar of what I do. And one of the things that I'm very much passionate about and also advocate apart from tech is that all of us should have something outside of work, some hobby or something that you're passionate about. And for me, that is being content creation. I've been creating content around travel, food, and lifestyle for about 20 years now, if I'm correct. And that's a long time. And I've been doing that from my school days, and that is what drives me outside of work. So a lot of travel, food is what I do when I'm not doing any of these tech and DevRel related stuff. So yeah, that's a very short intro about me.
Great. That was nice. So we'll talk more about, you mentioned the 3C of DevRel and Cloud Native CNCF Ambassador. We will talk in detail. And so let's start like your journey. Like I personally want to know how you started from the early college days to here the developer advocacy. How was the things when you was in college? So how you started, how you think to go this side? How was the journey started of tech?
Sure. So I think before getting to college, I take a few years more, flashback sort of. So because that context is very important, at least in my journey, and you
Exactly.
will probably know why when I speak about it. So, growing up, I think I've moved a lot of cities in India. I've stayed in the north, south, east, west, and stayed in 4 years in a different city. And one of the parts which is very close to me is the few years that I spent in a boarding school. So I was in a boarding school in Panchgani, which is a hill station close to Pune, about 100 kilometers from Pune. And uh, not bragging, but then the movie Tare Zameen Par was shot in that school. I was part of the movie as well, the whole shooting process.
That's great.
So yeah, that was a completely different experience. But then, yeah, so I was in a boarding school, and as part of the school curriculum itself, we focus a lot on extracurricular activities. So I learned cooking there. I learned glass painting there. I learned FM radio making there. I also learned coding there. So that was probably my initial experience with coding. So C, C++, HTML, PHP. These were the things that I learned as part of those extracurricular activities. We also had one of the courses that was on, setting up a PC. So we were given an empty cabinet and we had to put the motherboard, processor, RAM, hard disk, set it up, boot the OS. So all these things were like extracurricular post, outside of my subjects. And that is when I started my website. That is when I started creating content. So back then it used to be food and recipes and vegetarian food and stuff. And this was in 2006, if I'm correct. And that's when all of this started. Now, fast forward, I did my engineering from Amity University in Noida. So I spent 4 years there, computer science. Back then, we didn't have any specific specialization. Aajkal, so you see computer science, you have data science and robotics and IoT and AI. It was pure, clean, vanilla computer science. And I was one of those rare students in Amity. I mean, I think I can say that, who had 100% attendance.
That's great. So in every engineering college, there is a person who have that 100%. So you was that kind, and we people hate that person.
Yes, I was the rare person who had 100% attendance there. But yeah, that was a good journey. The 4 years. Obviously we did a lot of different subjects. I think, apart from computer science, I really enjoyed learning mechanical engineering, especially the automobile part. That caught my interest. So even outside of computer science, I used to spend a lot of time understanding IC engines and how diesel engines work and those initial part of.
Here I want to say that my branch was also mechanical engineering. So I was in that.
Wow. So I actually salute all the mechanical engineers, because that I feel is like, really tough part of engineering.
Exactly.
So yeah, we did that. Went through the typical subjects, Java and SQL. Traditional, whatever was there. Back in the curriculum, and cloud computing was like an elective subject in 7th semester or something. I know, if I remember. So we did that. One thing that I never was really a part of back in college was communities. I was not part of any of the computer science society or a computer science group or Linux group, or we had a bunch of groups within college, and I was never a part of any of those. So there was one student exchange program that happened with one of the universities in the US. So I was part of the student exchange program. So we built some website for an NGO based in the US, and the US college guys were the product team back then. They used to come with the requirements and stories, and we were the engineering team who were actually, building and deploying, the website. So that was the initial experience of how software actually.
These things you were doing in your college, which year? Like third year, second year, or which?
This was fourth. This was final year.
Okay.
So from first year till third year, I was very focused only on the curriculum.
Yeah.
No extracurricular stuff when it comes to college. So not roaming outside or not even attending the clubs internally. So I was very boring, if you say that, if that's the right word. But then that's how I was when it was in college. And I think we did this fourth year mein placements, typical college placements. And I think one of the first companies that came was Wipro. And I was selected there. And I think they asked which location you want to be a part of. I think I chose every location in India, because I was like, mujhe ghumna hai, take me to some exotic location where I can go and work. So I think after about 3 or 4 months, I think it didn't take long. I was put in Hyderabad, and that was 2014. So
Okay,
I'm
so
here in
you
Hyderabad
passed,
since
you
2014.
completed your degree in which year? 14.
2014.
14,
Yes.
exactly. The same for me also. Like we are at the same page. I also completed in
Perfect.
14.
Yeah, so perfect. Yeah, I think mine was June, July, or whatever.
Yeah.
The 14 is, yeah.
Yes.
So that happened, and I came to Hyderabad, and I was trained here on testing. And at that time, it was more like, ठीक है, जो मिल जाता है कर लो, sort of.
Exactly.
Placement हुई नहीं. Yeah. So I joined Wipro, and I think one of the best parts over there, even now for me, was the training, the initial 3 months. So we were a batch of about 100, 120 people, and at the end of 3 months, I think I topped that batch, or maybe second in that entire batch. So वो पढ़ाकू कीड़ा था कि syllabus अगर है पढ़ना है तो studious है हम लोग, तो वहाँ पर भी studious है. And I think internally in Wipro, the first project that I got was on manual testing. So my initial work was, there was a website that they were building, and I used to do manual testing for it. So click on buttons, see if something is happening or not.
Yeah.
Go to an Excel sheet,
Cross-checking.
इसमें test cases लिखने
Yes.
होते थे. Exactly. So I was doing all of that initially, and obviously तब ये रहता था कि यार, no, I don't want to do manual testing. I want to write code. That's what we all want to do, right? So
Exactly.
internally, I tried shifting to different projects. Can I get into a developer role? So gave interviews internally to a bunch of projects. Some were in Java, some were in C#. I was like, ठीक है, चलेगा, not much of a difference we can.
Right,
कुछ भी
right.
कर सकते
Code
हैं,
is
as
code.
long as exactly, yeah, as long as it's code. So I couldn't get into any developer sort of a project, but then I got into an automation project, automation testing. And I was like, चलो ये भी ठीक है, because now I'm writing scripts in C#. So this is no more manual testing, but I'm writing script, I'm writing code. काम वही हो रहा है कि I'm writing a script to click on a button, open an application, take a screenshot, everything, but then that's happening through a script. Like, ठीक है, that's also fine as long as I'm writing scripts.
Exactly.
And I think at that whole time the idea was जो भी कुछ नया करने को मिला. I was always
Exactly.
ready कि यार कुछ भी नया फेंक दो, I'll take it
That
up.
curiosity happens
not
कि मतलब
something.
कुछ नया है तो चलो सीखने को मिलेगा. Right.
Exactly, right? तो उस टाइम पे ये ब्लॉक नहीं था कि यार ये नहीं करना है, वो नहीं करना है. I was like, yeah, I'll do anything sort of. So internally within the project, there was a requirement कि we want some web developer to develop a front end for some portal. I'm like, करूँगा ना, बताओ क्या करना है. So back then it was Angular 1.6 or something कुछ तो चल रहा था. So Angular, Bootstrap, HTML, CSS करके I spent a few months building a portal. पीछे के stored procedures were written by the architect, so all I had to do was REST API, just call, put get, and everything is done. Ajax वगैरह use करके. So that was a good experience, थोड़ा testing से हटे. We were building something which was looking good, and the team was about 2,000 member team, so they would be using this portal to do whatever their daily tracking या उस type का जो उनको करना रहता था. I was like, that's interesting.
Right.
By the time that was finished, there was a requirement for a data analytics project. And I was like, yeah, karunga, because data analytics was new back then. It was a hot topic. Yeah. So that was a government of Telangana ka project.
Okay.
It was a health department ka project. And it was around Azure Data Factory, data lakes, data pipelines, and I think Power BI. So my major role was only on Power BI. I had to build dashboards.
Okay.
Like चलेगा, वो भी नया है यार, कम से कम इसी बहाने डैशबोर्डिंग और पावर बीआई टैब्लू करके सॉफ्टवेयर था उस टाइम पे.
Right, right.
So we'll spend some time on that. तो उस प्रोजेक्ट में एक्सपीरियंस ये मिला कि I used to report to the health secretary of government of Telangana.
Oh,
तो
nice.
हफ्ते में एक दिन मैं तेलंगाना सेक्रेटेरिएट जाता था, गवर्नमेंट
That's
ऑफिस में.
amazing. Yeah.
एक IAS ऑफिसर बैठता था,
Oh.
and he used to give me questions कि मेरे को इसका डैशबोर्ड चाहिए.
Okay.
So his questions used to be like, I want to know how many kids. So it was a health department project for kids below the age of 18. His queries used to be like, I want to know how many boys under the age of 16 years in Hyderabad have a problem related to eye. इसके ऊपर मेरे को तुम डेटा एक डैशबोर्ड बना के दो.
Okay.
So he used to give me like 10-15 queries and we had their access to their database and it had about, I don't know, 9 or 10 crores rows of data. So filtering that, getting into Azure, and then uske upar building it. So the senior architect took care of it. I was mainly responsible कि एक call बनाना है, stored procedures थोड़ा लिखना है, and then get it on the dashboard. But that was interesting because I was interacting with real life, decisions and discussions that were happening. तो इवेंचुअली जब वो पोर्टल लॉन्च हुआ था तेलंगाना गवर्नमेंट की हेल्थ वेबसाइट पे वो डैशबोर्ड पब्लिकली फ्रंट पेज पे दिखता था.
Wow.
इस स्टेट में ये हो रहा है.
This made you proud कि something you built and this is on the website of government, right?
Exactly, right? And that was something that I never thought.
Yes.
ऐसा भी कुछ हो सकता है. So that it was a short project, but it was an interesting project.
Lot of learning.
And by the time this was happening, free time में I was already doing content. तो जो स्कूल से शुरू किया था, that converted into a travel blog, a food blog.
Okay.
So in Hyderabad, restaurants started inviting me. We have a new menu. Can you come and taste our new food and write about us?
Write about that. Yeah.
And I didn't know कि a possibility. I mean, I never knew that this was also something that happens.
Exactly.
So I was like, okay, let's take this a little more seriously. And in between, I think Logitech approached. And they were like, we are having a pop-up and can you just come and visit the stall and write about Logitech? I'm like, okay, we'll do it. So I still remember they gave me MX Master 2S wala mouse, one keyboard and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, this sounds interesting. So ये चीजें मेरी चल रही थी. And around the same time, I started building Android apps.
So just I want to interrupt that your fooding blog comes from that time, right? Today we used to see your blog post like it on Friday or maybe some other day that
Friday,
it's on.
yes.
Apart from the work, there is a new post on food blog. So today also you shared on LinkedIn about the Mumbai.
The Mumbai wala.
Yes. So this comes from that time. Okay, that's interesting.
So this started in 2006. It started as a recipe site, but then it got converted into a blog where I started sharing experiences. And the whole reason for doing this again was, so I'll go back. When I started this website, we had to buy a domain name.
Yes.
And domain name का तब मेरे को पता नहीं था. I was I think in 7th or 8th. So domain name का कोई clue नहीं था. And my sir was like, you need to give some name.
Yes.
And because खाने की website थी, मैंने बोल दिया sir masterchef.com ले लेते हैं अपन.
Common name.
He was like, exactly. And he was like, ऐसे नहीं होता है. Domain names are taken. And then he explained me how domain names actually work.
Right.
And then we were like, अच्छा ऐसी बात है क्या? So that is when he suggested, let's go with your name. And let's go with what your website has.
Right.
So that is how the name Atul and Maharaj came together.
Oh,
Atul Maharaj has been going on since 2006.
The secret reveals here. Atul Maharaj came from that point. I just got to know right now. That's amazing.
Yes, a lot of people said Maharaj was something like an astrologer, king. But ये नहीं है, ये खाना बनाने वाले Maharaj.
Okay. I was also thinking, it's the different title from the origin or what?
Yeah. No, so it came from there, and I think so that time it was mainly a recipe site. And why I did this was because my sir was like, यार देखो हम लोग इंटरनेट से सब कुछ फ्री में उठाने वाले लोग.
Yeah.
हमको गाने चाहिए, हम लिरिक्स पे चले जाएंगे. उस टाइम पे songs.pk करके वेबसाइट होती
है. Yes, exactly.
डाउनलोड करते हैं.
वहीं से डाउनलोड करते हैं.
You talk about LimeWire and everything. So it was all about we taking stuff for free from internet.
Yes.
But what are we giving back to the internet? ये क्वेश्चन सर का आया था. And this was in 7th standard. And as पता नहीं दिमाग में वो बात बैठ गई. Like हाँ यार हम तो फ्री में ले रहे हैं, वापस कुछ दे नहीं रहे हैं. इसके लिए मेरी वेबसाइट बनी. And I was like, I'll give back to the internet by sharing recipes so that other people can learn those recipes and try and do it.
Yeah.
So the essence of me creating content always was helping people, giving back to the internet. So it started with recipes. Obviously, down the line, it changed. Hyderabad में सबसे अच्छी बिरयानी कहाँ मिलती है? That's it. You have a question, I have an answer. So I'm helping you find the best biryani place in Hyderabad, right? So it got converted into that, but the essence remained the same. Helping people find answers to whatever questions they have. So ये चीज साइड में चलते रहेगी.
Yeah.
Exactly. Food, travel, my experiences.
Yes. And about the city.
Exactly. And मतलब ये था कि कोई भी कुछ पूछे, if I have done it, I give an authentic
Yes.
review or response of ये क्या है ये.
So this is the
So
good way.
ये
Like
चल रहा
whatever
था.
we have the experience, we are just providing the solution with our experience. That okay, this is available on internet, right?
Yes, and that's more honest. You are not writing something that is not you have never done.
Yeah.
In this case, everything that I have written till now is मैंने खुद first hand experience किया. So I cannot go wrong. I
Yes.
am not bluffing.
That's a personal
And I think-
experience.
Exactly, or I think that matters the most, especially when it's long term. Long term में इसकी value ज़्यादा है कि you will not read a generic article that talks about 11 AI tools to use, but you will read an article which probably any of our community guys have written because someone has written. Talk about Rohit, talk about Sayam, talk about Kunal. If these people talk about some tools, you will listen to them because they have tried.
Right.
ये लोग बिना try किए नहीं लिखने वाले.
Exactly.
That's where the authenticity comes into the picture. So yeah, we did that, and then I was also making Android applications in my free time, Java में. क्यों? क्योंकि मेरे friends ऐप बना रहे थे. तो बोले अरे वो लोग ऐप बना सकते हो, मैं क्यों नहीं ऐप बना सकता? So watch YouTube videos, built a few apps. Couple of them had 1.6, 1.7 million downloads, 4.7 star ratings, and pretty well back in the time. अभी तो कुछ भी नहीं है because Google keeps updating frameworks. अपने पास time नहीं है उसको maintain करने का. So there are no apps right now. So because of this Android experience, I moved to a newer project where I was building Android apps using Xamarin.
Using
Internally at Wipro. Xamarin, Xamarin.
Okay.
It's basically a cross-platform framework developed by Microsoft, जिसमें you write your code in C# and your output build you get in iOS as well as Android.
Okay.
So we were building at the Android part for the largest logistics client in the world. तो उनके लिए काम होता था. तो टिपिकल स्प्रिंट्स अजाइल टीम थी, तो वहाँ पे अजाइल समझ में आया कि अच्छा अजाइल क्या होता है,
Yes.
कैसे काम करता है, पीएम क्या करता है, प्रोडक्ट ओनर क्या करता है, स्टोरी पॉइंट, स्प्रिंट्स. आई मीन द टिपिकल कॉर्पोरेट how things work. And during this time, because my content was already going on, the food and travel one, I started getting collaborations on that front. So Tata Motors, Yamaha, Toyota, these guys started inviting me कि आप so Nexon launch I was present. So when Nexon was launched, I was one of the media folks. I was flown to Kochi. We stayed at a hotel. They gave the car. अब पूरा दिन गाड़ी घुमाओ और गाड़ी के बारे में लिखो.
Right.
That's cool. So I did, I think, Tata Hexa, Tata Nexon, Tata Tigor in Delhi, Tata Zika in Goa. So I started doing all of this outside of work. And तब मेरी curiosity आई कि यार, why are they investing so much money on me? I am writing a blog post and giving to them. जो मेरे blog पे जा रहा है, इससे उतनी बड़ी ब्रांड की एक गाड़ी थोड़ी बिकने वाली, क्या फायदा हो रहा है?
Right.
That was my curiosity. So all of these events used to have their marketing heads, their marketing VPs, product heads. And evening में drinks के साथ party कुछ होते हैं. I was always curious कि just to understand how this influencer marketing thing actually works.
Yeah.
कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं, आपको क्या फायदा हो रहा है.
यार हमारे वर्क से, हमारे छोटे से वर्क से उनको क्या फायदा है? Right.
Exactly right. मतलब उनकी गाड़ी बिक नहीं रही है मेरे ब्लॉग पोस्ट.
Exactly.
अच्छा नहीं है, मैंने एक आर्टिकल लिख दिया तो एक गाड़ी बिक जाएगी. Because I wasn't like a celebrity to sell cars.
Absolutely.
Right? So that question was there, and I think that curiosity led me to do an MBA. And I think and why an MBA? Because I didn't just want to understand marketing. Influencer marketing बस एक छोटी सी चीज है, but then उसमें आप बहुत सारी चीजें आपकी इन्वॉल्व होती है, फाइनेंसेस आते हैं, बजटिंग कहीं से आती है, उसके पीछे की स्ट्रेटेजी कहीं से आती है. यार अगर ये चीज समझनी है, you need to have business acumen.
Exactly.
ये चीज हो कैसे रही है? So I joined an executive MBA course at Narsimunji while I was working at Wipro.
Okay.
So it was a classroom course, but it was a weekend course.
Okay. So
for
this
2 years
was online on the weekend class, right?
Yes, classroom हैदराबाद में नरसिम्हा का कैंपस था.
Okay.
So back to college. So Monday to Friday Wipro, Saturday Sunday class 9 to 6.
Oh, that's amazing. Great.
So for 2 years there was no weekend, there was no holiday. We did classes. यहाँ पे हम क्लास कर रहे हैं और यहाँ पे अपना काम कर रहे हैं.
Totally hard work.
Now इसमें
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Busy schedule.
वो था
Yes.
because giving up weekends for me, हर weekend जाके कोई रेस्टोरेंट में नया खाना खाना है. I think that was a little difficult for those 2 years, but then I was like, कहीं ना कहीं it might help.
Yes, in the starting at least, it works like as much you are giving input on your learnings, gaining skills that work later, right?
Absolutely, and I think why I really why I was interested in doing MBA and why the whole course was interesting was because a lot of things that were happening I could relate to. Engineering में मेरे को अभी भी sin theta cos theta नहीं समझ में आता कि मैं कहाँ apply कर रहा हूँ. Sin square plus cos square is equal to 1. I don't know if that formula is also right, but I don't see it happening. But in MBA marketing, I know exactly what I was doing. कि दुकान में आपकी दूध की थैली एकदम पीछे क्यों रखी रहती है? So that you go through the entire store and pick everything and come back. या स्टार्टिंग में आपके वो चॉकलेट्स क्यों रखे रहते बिलिंग काउंटर के पास?
That strategy, like we got to know that how to influence customer, how to that work.
Exactly. So क्योंकि I was learning this and I was practically seeing this, that made me more interested.
Yeah, exactly.
यार ये चीज काफी interesting है. So what this did was, because I was learning finance, because I was into accounting, because I was into marketing, and अब तक अगर आप देखो तो I had already spent about 10 years creating content. I didn't have formal knowledge, but I did understand how digital works. क्योंकि खुद website चला रहा था, खुद blog चला रहा था. So technical part is different. कि I understood the stack. So it was basically WordPress. It was running a LAMP stack, so Linux, Apache, PHP, MySQL, all the stack on which the blog was running. So technical part तो ठीक था क्योंकि अपन engineer है तो वो तो handle हो ही जाएगा.
Yes.
But the marketing part, creating content, how search works, how algorithms work, how Google works, how distribution works. तो इस चीज के terms नहीं थे, but then I was doing all of it on my own, करके. So I had the ideas, but not the strategy and terms. So the Wipro में, while I was doing these courses, we had a hackathon internally, and hackathon was like यार कुछ interesting बनाओ sort of. And I think we built something around Bluetooth beacons and proximity sensors. The proximity sensors से use करके how we can use it in a warehouse for stock keeping or something, because it was a logistic line, so उनके लिए. Now I remember कि so there were hackathon that happened every year, and I was in this project for I think two or 3 years probably. तो पहले वाले में तो हम लोग prize नहीं जीत पाए, but उस hackathon का first prize was an iPad.
Oh.
And I was very adamant. Here's the iPad, if you can see.
Wow.
I still have it. तो उस टाइम पे ये था कि यार ये iPad जीतना है मेरे को.
Yes.
तब ये था कि यार कुछ भी
That was the motive,
iPad.
Driving thrust.
Yes. So I was like यार ये iPad जीतने के लिए तो आना है. So we came back, with a better idea. We pitched it. The difference now was कि बाकी जितनी teams की जो PPTs थी, it was mainly focused on engineering. Now because I was doing an MBA, not everyone was aware that I was doing it. तो मेरी स्लाइड में एक फाइनेंस का अलग का एंगल आ गया था, एक प्रोडक्ट का अलग एंगल आ गया था, which was separate from all the other engineers that I had built. So when I pitched this, we won the prize. कि भाई it hit them somewhere. कि यार इसने तो कुछ ढंग की बात बोल दी, और probably maybe I was talking the language that the senior leadership understood. And I was able to connect finances. I was talking about P&L, I was talking about cash flows, operating margins, all those stuff जो उनकी समझ में आता है.
Exactly.
And I think that made sense. So we won that, and my client asked me, I want this guy in the US. इसको आप भिजवाओ करके. I want to see him, and he was the group CTO, director of the client, and Wipro was like, sure, let's get your visas and stuff, everything done. And during this time, my role changed from building Android apps. I was now leading in-house incubation center, जहाँ पे हम cutting edge चीजों पे काम करते थे.
Oh, wow.
So we worked on solutions around Google Lens. उस पे हमने बनाया था कि आप ऐसे चश्मा पहन, it will count how many boxes you have, things like that. We built projects on HoloLens, IoTs, Bluetooth. So I was driving that incubation center. तो Wipro के अंदर ही एक ऐसा center बनाया था जहाँ पे people can come and small छोटी teams बनती हैं, थोड़ा funding मिलता है, and then you build these small POCs and you go and pitch to clients sort of. So I became a part of it. तो मेरा रेगुलर काम से हटके ये काम शुरू हो गया. And then I started interacting with all the names that you know. I got to meet Rishad Premji a couple of times. I met Azim Premji a couple of times. The current CEO, Srini Palya, he was heading the US Geo back then. तो तब उनसे interaction होता था. So then the entire perspective sort of changed. यार ये काम में मजा आ रहा है. ये काम ज़्यादा engineering ठीक है, story points तो कर रहे हैं, but then the whole idea of building something, talking about it, putting the things that I know, talking to clients, bridging that gap, I started enjoying.
The whole gap was filling with the from production to marketing and business, all.
Yes. Right. And that is somewhere I think I found कि यार अच्छा ये करने में मेरे को मजा आ रहा है. Not that I don't enjoy building stuff, But then the whole idea of building, talking about it, convincing people, educating them, ये पूरा arc, ये पूरा process करने में मजा आ रहा था. And I was finding it fun.
So, and this was the which year around, like?
This was all from 2017 to 2019, 2020.
Okay, around the COVID era.
Yes, so I was coming there. So while I was doing this, that's when COVID came.
Yes, okay.
My tickets to US were booked, but COVID happened. So never traveled to US for this client project, जिसके लिए award मिला था. And obviously COVID started, everything stopped. We came home.
Right.
And you know, फिर ये भी हो गया कि the innovation thing that I was working on, that took a backseat because focus was more on delivering value that we are working for the clients. And that was the focus, and content side में मेरा चल ही रहा था. So I was still writing about food, I was still writing about travel. And then बीच में जब COVID के बाद reopen हुआ, and markets opened, you know, we are safe and all this. So every brand wanted to talk about safety. कि our place is safe. You know, हम mask पहन रहे हैं, हम gloves पहन रहे हैं. We have sanitized places. So then a lot of restaurants started reaching out here. We want to help you talk about our restaurant that we are safe. Like, okay. So I started again going to restaurants. Tourism boards started inviting. The Gujarat tourism was like, hey, do you want to come to Gujarat, visit Sardar Patel statue, and tell that Gujarat is again open and tourists are welcome and things like that. So we started doing it. ये पूरे टाइम में my current employer की HR stumbled upon my travel blog.
Okay.
मैंने travel blog पढ़ा, and randomly she was looking for probably her own, उनका मतलब उनको कुछ holiday पे जाना था या कुछ भी, something related. She was googling, and that's where Atul Maharaj popped up on her search result. तो उन्होंने blog पढ़ा कि अच्छा travel है, ये है, वो है. And from there I think she went to LinkedIn.
Okay.
And when she went to LinkedIn, she saw ये तो engineer है, computer science, and he's also an MBA marketing, and they were looking for a developer advocate.
Oh wow.
So this person
This is the moment.
reached out to me on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
this was the moment. You know, hey, we are looking for a developer advocate. We went through your profile, and it looks really interesting, and you know, it aligns with whatever we want and whatever you do.
Okay.
And this time I was roaming in Gujarat. I was on a holiday. So मैंने message देखा, I was like, spam होगा, LinkedIn पे spam भेजते रहते हैं, spam होगा, because back then this title of developer advocate was new.
Yeah, exactly. I want to ask you, that time you was aware with that word, DevRel, what is that?
No,
I think, yeah.
That is why I ignored my HR's message for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then this is spam, क्योंकि तब क्या चलता था? Software engineer, senior software engineer, lead software engineer.
Exactly.
That's how the hierarchy worked, right? So the developer advocacy was new. So anyways, I ignored. She reached out again, and I think ठीक है यार, जब इतना है तो आप job description भेजो, मेरे को एटलीस्ट समझ में तो है what I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
And that JD actually specified everything in the 3 C's that I told. So there was code,
right,
there was content, and there was community.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this sounds new. Code तो मैं कर ही लेता हूँ थोड़ा बहुत. Content मैं 20 साल मतलब 15 साल से तो लिख ही रहा हूँ. But that's a different thing that I've never written a tech doc or something for a developer audience. But I understand the content space very well. And community, मेरे को कोई clue नहीं था that there are tech communities as well. And this happened in 2021. So it's just, 5 years अभी तक. Until 21, even in Wipro, I had no idea about tech communities, no tech events that I attended.
At that time, I don't think the communities word were there, right?
I mean, I don't know if they were active, but I'm sure कुछ ना कुछ तो होता रहा होगा.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of communities, like you talk about Java groups, Java communities, or you talk about Mozilla groups. These were existing from 2010, 2012. ये लोग उस time से communities थे.
Yes.
So they were existing. It's just that probably I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah, we were not aware.
उनके से उतनी awareness नहीं थी कि हमको नहीं पता कि क्या हो रहा है क्या नहीं हो रहा है sort of. So I was like, ठीक है. And this was more for a Kubernetes and DevOps and cloud sort of alignment. And my biggest concern was यार मैंने इसमें से कुछ भी नहीं किया है. मैंने DevOps की pipeline भी नहीं लिखी है, मुझे Azure पता भी नहीं है, CI/CD का बस मेरे को full form पता है.
Yes, that technology is totally new. Yeah.
Totally new. I know I'm in tech. I was a developer. I was coding, but this entire infra thing was completely new to me.
Yeah.
So they were like, the first round happened with a casual discussion, and they were like, "नहीं यार मुझे तो fit लग रहा है. Let's do a next round of this thing."
Okay.
And that was the first time I was giving an interview after staying in Wipro for 7 years. I had no idea कि मैं interview में क्या पूछते हैं.
Okay. Yeah, and that was a long time in same company. So
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
I never knew because my previous interview was campus placement. Campus placement में पूछा palindrome. अच्छा, but I was like 7 साल बाद तो palindrome नहीं पूछेगा.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew it would be something else. And 7 years means you have certain experience. So I was looking at things like system design, basics, कि क्या काम करता है, code कैसे काम करता है. Content side I was not too afraid because I knew I have done things. हो सकता हो terms नहीं हो मेरे पास, but हाँ hands on किया है तो
At least
that I
you
was
have
still
idea.
little confident.
Yeah.
So the first round was to build some application as microservices. वो लोग ने एक assignment दिया और assignment के end में लिखा था कि if you create a Docker container, you will get extra points for this. It was not mandatory, but if you create, it's good. And
Bonus.
my first thing was, yeah, bonus, exactly. And my first thing was, yeah, microservices सुना तो है, होता क्या है मेरे को पता नहीं. And in Wipro back in the time, Spring Boot was a popular framework that I used to hear in my teams. कि हर कोई delivery manager, PM used to talk about अरे Spring Boot कुछ तो आया है. So I googled Spring Boot and I was like, अच्छा, these are microservice frameworks. What is microservice? अच्छा, monolith microservice में difference क्या है? And I was like, अच्छा, this is what microservices. So we built that application. वो application बनाया. अब we were like कि इसको Docker में container बनाना है. Docker का कोई clue नहीं था. So I went to YouTube and there was this video by Nana.
Tech with Nana. Yes.
Yeah. And I saw that 1 hour का video 0 to hero या कुछ तो ऐसा था 1 hour का this thing. And उसमें पूरा commands लिखे थे, copy, run, how to build, Docker, push, pull, जो भी उसका वो रहता है वो सारा हुआ. That was my first interaction with Docker. तो मैंने container बना के भेज दिया submission. And I think after a week later they reached out saying कि there is a red flag in your assignment. And I'm like, हो गया, खत्म बात.
Red flag.
कुछ तो आपने गलत. There was some bug.
Okay.
So basically, what the interviewer did was he killed the container and then he restarted the container. तो ये memory जो उस app में थी वो persist नहीं हो रही थी. Because वो logic मैंने नहीं लिखा था. Because that was a very edge case. जब मैं लिख रहा था that उस time मैंने नहीं सोचा कि भाई ये container भी kill करके फिर से start करे मैं बोलेगा मेरी file कहाँ गई. Right. जो memory में था वो कहाँ गया. So the HR was like, can you fix it? Like, yeah, I know the issue. I can definitely fix it. But take your time, fix it and give. So that was the chance that they gave. Do you want to fix it? I fixed it and then thoda bahut, explaining how did you do, why did you karke wo hua. And then I had a round with the CTO. That was more around content. How will you leverage content, developer audience se connect kaise karna hai. And I was like, I have never dealt with developer audience, but I know my thing. Reddit kaise kaam karta hai, blogs kaise kaam karta hai, how search actually works. So we had some assignments on writing a blog post, developer, technical articles sort of, because I've been writing travel and food. So travel और food में आप कहानियाँ लिखते हो, because when someone reads a travel blog, they want to be with you in the story. So you tell a lot of stories. कि मैं बॉम्बे स्टेशन पे उतरा, बहुत सारी भीड़ थी, वड़ा पाव का smell आ रहा था. You write this when you're writing a travel blog. But when you're writing a tech content, nobody wants stories. Tech content has to be TLDR. And even after joining, I think first few months, my review you always used to be यार तू कहानियाँ बहुत लिखता है, because that's the thing I was coming from. So initially it was difficult to adjust from a non-tech content to tech content as to how to write a tech content that connects with developers. Anyways, I was put on a project called I was hired and ये हुआ कि अच्छा Kubernetes समझना है. मैंने कहा अच्छा मिनी क्यूब करके कुछ तो आता है, Kubernetes कुछ तो होता है, Helm कुछ तो होता है, Customize कुछ तो होता है. So that initial 3 months was just trying to figure out kubectl get ns, kubectl get pods all, कौन सी चीजें namespace होती है, namespace क्या होता है. So the 3-4 months was intense learning. If you ask me right now to rate myself on Kubernetes 0 on a scale of 0 to 10, I would still say 5. I'm not there. Maybe 6, 5.5, 6. उससे ज़्यादा नहीं, because the space is too evolving, it's too complex, and I'm just trying to keep up.
But it is like happening. Seriously, it is amazing because nowadays what happen, people, if folks don't know about the tech, they just don't try to enter. But it is very like we need to learn from you that if anything is new, just start learning, go with the flow, and that's the demand of the like present, right? You got the opportunity and you learn it. Yeah.
करेक्ट क्योंकि आपके पास हमेशा अपॉर्चुनिटी ऐसे सर्व नहीं की जाएगी.
Exactly.
You need to be ready, and sometimes you just take the plunge. Like a lot of people, like if you ask me 10 years back, would I have taken testing? Because testing अभी भी आप देखो तो is always, at least in India, is thought of as like tester और developer का एक अलग वो रहता है. यार I don't want to be QA, I want to be a dev.
Exactly.
That's how we have been conditioned from college या जो भी उसको बोल दे.
Right.
So अंदर हमसे था कि यार testing कौन करेगा?
Yeah, I also gave one interview of testing in the starting.
See, and I'll tell you, I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, but I think anyone who has spent time in testing or QA in any sort of, they become very good developers or product guys or whatever in the future.
Agree.
Because you have that eye of finding things कि यार ये यहाँ पे गड़बड़ हो सकती है.
Yes.
Which your developers can miss.
Yes. At least we have the idea of bug or the issue in that process, right? Totally agree.
You have that lens. You know कि यार यहाँ पे गड़बड़ हो सकती है. आप वो सारी चीजें ढूंढ सकते हो जो बाकी डेवलपर शायद नॉर्मली मिस करते हैं.
Right.
So as QA you can do that. So that is why I really am fortunate that I got to spend some time doing QA. तो मेरे को समझ में आया किधर क्या चेक करना है. Anyways, I came here. We spent time doing Kubernetes, Helm ये वो करके. Then I was put onto a project called Fission, which is basically open source.
Okay.
It's there on CNCF landscape. By the way, CNCF मेरे को तब नहीं पता था क्या था, but I knew कि अच्छा CNCF में एक हमारा project है, which was basically your K3S but for Kubernetes. Sorry, no. It was basically Lambda for Kubernetes. So serverless, but running on Kubernetes.
Okay.
So this was a project that InfraCloud team had built, and it was open source and maintained by them. इधर कि अच्छा ये project है, इसके around we need to get some more adoption और ये वो कर रहे हैं, देख तेरे को क्या करना है सब. ठीक है. तो पहले तो Fission समझो कि क्या है. Spend some time deploying it on local, deploying it on GCP. And mind you, this was my first time interacting with cloud. GCP, Azure, AWS. मैंने कभी use नहीं किया था. And this was what, 2022.
This was also new.
So it's
right.
So it's still new, like it's only 4 years. In 4 years में कितना ही change हो गया.
Yeah.
So I spent time deploy करते and then I was like, ऐसे एक काम करते हैं, let's try to see how well we can use Fission. So I started looking at integrations. So Fission message queue के साथ कैसे काम करता है. So I looked at RabbitMQ. तो एक RabbitMQ के साथ POC बनाया कि Fission RabbitMQ कैसे काम करता है, and then wrote a blog post about it. Then we did the same thing with PubSub. Did the same thing with SNS. तो मेरे पास मैसेजिंग क्यू का थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया हो गया था कि अच्छा मैसेज क्यू होती क्यों है, यूज क्यों करती है, इवेंट बेस्ड सिस्टम्स क्या होता है, एंड हाउ Fission इंटरैक्ट्स. एंड ऐसे करके आई स्टार्टेड टचिंग अदर प्रोजेक्ट्स इन CNCF लैंडस्केप. सो वी वर्कड ऑन Istio, वी वर्कड विद Grafana, वी वर्कड विद होटल. तो ये सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स में आई वाज बिल्डिंग छोटे मोटे इंटीग्रेशंस, एंड आई वाज राइटिंग ब्लॉग पोस्ट, एंड आई वाज बिल्डिंग POCs GitHub रेपो में कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हैं. बेसिकली सैंपल्स एंड डेवलपर डॉक्स का काम था.
Okay.
And I think by the end of about 4 months, I had done about 10 or 11 such integrations and blog posts and POCs. And बाद में मेरे को मेरे growth head का message आया कि what have you done to Fission's website? And I'm like, what happened? And then he showed me the graphs, and all the graphs and the numbers, domain authorities, site authority, page authorities were all like on plus, positive. Traffic हमारा suddenly बढ़ गया था.
Great.
And
I think because of those blogs. Right.
Exactly. Because I have been doing content, मेरे को पता है कि यार मैं सोशल महाराज पे यही कर रहा हूँ, मेरे को यही replicate करना है. It's just that it's a different domain, but I know how to write. I know how search works. तो वो यहाँ पे benefit हुआ. And they were like, yeah, this is interesting. It worked for us. So in one of the discussions with my founder, in one of the annual discussions, he was like, अच्छा, let's keep a target that there is something called as CNCF Ambassador. तो आप CNCF के बारे में समझो. एक ambassador करके कुछ चीज होती है, समझो वो क्या होता है. And let's say 5 years down the line, one of the KPIs would be that you need to be CNCF ambassador.
So who asked you these all about CNCF?
So this is Vishal Biyani, who is our CTO at InfraCloud.
InfraCloud, yeah.
He is my manager.
Yes,
yeah.
I know him, yeah.
So in one of the discussions, Vishal was like, हमको CNCF ambassador देखो क्या होता है, and we need to explore it, and let's say 3 years, 4 years down the line, we'll look at it. So this discussion happened around in 21 and 2022 probably.
Okay.
And we are like 25 तक हमको ambassador बनना है.
Right, interesting.
Like, okay, it looks difficult. Global पे आप ambassador बनोगे, आपको CNCF के बारे में पता होना चाहिए.
CNCF vision start from there. Right, great.
Yeah. So then I was like, अच्छा, what is CNCF? So I started from there. फाउंडेशन के बारे में समझा, फिर पता चला कि अच्छा इसमें बहुत सारे ग्रुप्स होते हैं, Kubernetes अलग ही चल रहा है अपना, there are tags, there are working groups and मतलब basically I spent time understanding the organization first.
Yeah, lot of projects are there in the sandbox.
Yeah, I mean, so tech तो अलग साइड पे, I just trying to understand कि organization करता क्या, उसके अंदर ही इतने ग्रुप हैं. You have a governing board, you have a TOC, you have a tag, you have a working group, you have a sub project. ये सब है क्या और ये सब क्यों है?
That
So
totally different world.
Painting,
Exactly.
Understanding what they are doing. Project to ठीक था. And then I think once I got into the CNCF landscape, I realized कि इतने अच्छे से वो landscape बना हुआ है. All of us just probably know that image. आप CNCF landscape पे जाओ तो you know the image. 1000 project बने हुए हैं with different categories. But उसी में if you go to a guide, it tells you that all these projects are categorized in those 7 layers. Orchestration is one, observability is one. And all of these pillars are nothing but things that you need to build a cloud native application. तो हर bucket में आपके 8, 10, 20 project हैं. You talk about communication and networking, you have an Istio sitting there. आप observability की बात कर रहे हो, उसमें Fluent Bit का project है, आपका Grafana का है, Open Telemetry की, ये सारी. So everything is categorized very well. Like ठीक है. So by this time I was writing blog. I was already working on Fission, which was a CNCF project, and Vishal was also like, you know, Hyderabad mein there is some tech community, CNCF Hyderabad hai kya, zara just see if you want to do that. And I was like, okay, I don't have any idea of communities. Okay. So I remember one of my first meetups that I attended in Hyderabad was a GDG cloud event.
Yeah, Google developer groups.
And yeah, GDG का cloud event था, and I was like, ठीक है, GCP I was learning, Anthos was new at that time. मैंने अच्छा Anthos के ऊपर कुछ होने वाला है, जाके सुनते हैं कि क्या हो रहा है.
Okay.
So the keynote speaker in that meetup was Janki Ram.
If you know him. Okay. Yeah.
So Janki Ram was the keynote speaker there, and I had seen him write on LinkedIn. I had seen what all he does. So for me it was like, oh my god, I'm meeting Janki.
Yeah, like fascinating which we are following on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
And he is there.
Now you are meeting in person, right? So I met Janki that time, and good interactions around Anthos, क्या कर रहा है, GCP में क्या हो रहा है. Though I was not a pro, he was still a pro. He is a pro. But then I was just trying to understand कि अच्छा क्या हो रहा है, क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, so on. And then उसी के साथ साथ CNCF Hyderabad की community was here. Not active because of COVID, and just post-COVID they were restarting. So I started joining their meetups. Attendee की तरह जाता था. Show up every month whenever they did. पहुंच जाता था मैं कि अच्छा यार क्या कर रहे हो, I'm here, I do this. And then I was like, I want to speak at some meetup. Can you give me a chance, sort of? So they tried to accommodate me somewhere. उसके पहले I got a chance to speak at MongoDB user group in Hyderabad.
MongoDB, okay.
And this was done by Megha. Megha Arora was leading the community back then. So I'm like, yeah, Atul, can you come and talk? And I'm like, sure. So I gave a demo of Fission, जो मैंने यहाँ पे blog post या POC बनाया था. उसी में database we replaced with the MongoDB Atlas, and we gave the demo. मैं स्टेज पे जाते जाते गिरने वाला था, वायर पैर में फंस गया. डेमो मेरा 500 दे दिया, तो डेमो मेरा चला नहीं उस टॉक में. So everything that you think can go wrong happened wrong on my first ever tech talk that I gave. कि भाई ये तो कुछ भी नहीं चला, प्रोजेक्टर बीच में खराब हो गया, माइक खराब हो गया, डेमो नहीं चला, गिरते गिरते बचा, सब हुआ in the first meetup.
Everything was there, like anxiety level अलग से चल रहा है.
Exactly, कि यार क्या होता है, I've never spoken to, you know, a tech audience, confidence नहीं था, क्या बोलेंगे, मोंगो के बारे में ज्यादा नहीं पता था, फिशन के बारे में ज्यादा नहीं पता था, किसी ने पूछ दिया Kubernetes प्रोडक्शन में डालेंगे तो
scale cross question जब होते हैं, what we will answer.
Exactly, I had no idea. So I think all of that was in my mind, and उसकी वजह से ये सारा कांड हो गया. Anyways, that was a learning experience. Yes. The CNCF Hyderabad gave me a chance. I spoke there. Then I became a volunteer there. You know, because I've been doing content. Marketing is again my area. Awareness is my area. And my only thing to the CNCF Hyderabad organizers back then was कि यार हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं, हम लोग इसके बारे में किसी को बता नहीं रहे हैं. All you do is just give me access to your social media platforms. मेरे को और कुछ नहीं चाहिए. And just leave it to me. Let me drive. Let me tell people that, you know, what the community is doing, what are we doing. So I took over the LinkedIn, I took over Twitter, and then I just did what I felt was right.
Yeah.
कि हमको क्या चीज पोस्ट करनी चाहिए, कैसे पोस्ट करनी चाहिए.
Started sharing.
So I think for a year my goal was just creating awareness that people know CNCF Hyderabad exists and what do we do. बस यही goal था. And everyone else was taking care of whatever that they were doing. So I started communities, I started attending meetups, I was creating content already. CNCF का idea लग चुका था. The integrations that I was building was again using CNCF projects. So a lot of blog post content that was already awareness हो रहा था. And उस time पे CNCF Ambassador के application खुले. This was I think 22-23 क्या.
Okay.
And I was like, ठीक है, विशाल ने बोला है submit करना है, अभी submit करके देखते, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या होगा, reject
हो जाएगा, right.
And they selected.
Obviously.
And I was like,
wow.
This was not expected. And even Vishal was like, okay, I didn't expect कि इतना जल्दी हो जाएगा because we were looking at a timeline of 3 years.
Yeah.
We will, learn, get some experience around the projects, understand how the community, understand the landscape.
Yes.
Exactly, right? But then this happened a lot more, before than we had actually planned.
Yeah. Because at the end, like everything was going parallelly, like content you were making.
Towards that.
Yeah,
yes.
Community you also started, and you also started giving talks and sharing on the LinkedIn and all. So that work.
Correct. So everything just happened. Ambassadorship happened. Then I took over as the organizer for CNCF Hyderabad. So then we started doing meetups again. तब मेरे को था कि यार हम let's be consistent with the meetups. We'll figure out क्या होता है, कैसे होता है. So we started doing that, and then फिर धीरे-धीरे community बढ़ने लगी. Today we are 4,000 member community, the most active. We did 12 meetups last year, one meetup every month. We are doing that this year.
So you are doing you're talking about that Hyderabad meetup, CNCG.
Yeah, CNCG Hyderabad. CNCG was reframed last year by CNCF.
Yeah.
So they renamed the community. So problem क्या हो रहा था कि CNCF Hyderabad बोलने से लग रहा था कि ये official CNCF से related है.
Yeah.
This is not a community, but it is related to CNCF. So they wanted to differentiate the community from the CNCF. So they're like, we'll go with cloud native community groups. That is CNCG. So every community in the world was asked to rename themselves to CNCG or cloud native, whatever.
Yeah, because there was confusion कि मतलब official है what. Now CNCG is like at most of the place based, city based, right? I think.
Yes. So all the community groups are divided majorly into two segments. One is geography based, which region, which city you are in, and second is around a project and a technology based.
Okay.
So ये बहुत लोगों को नहीं पता है, but if you are a sandbox project or if you are a graduating project, you can create a CNCG specific to your project.
Oh, that's new things we got to know. Okay.
Yes. So if you look at a project like, let's say, Cordant or K0 by Mirantis, I think Prithvi is the one who's driving it. They have a community for that particular project. So आप अगर GitHub में जाके देखोगे, so if there is a CNCF project, you can create a dedicated community group for that project.
Oh.
Then you can create groups for things like women in cloud native. That's the best example.
I have learned about that.
Yeah, so they are doing that. Platform engineering, the group that I lead now, that is another community group. We don't do tech. It's not a typical region meetup, but then it's a non-region but a tech focused meetup. So these are the community groups that you can also create.
Okay, so here I am right that if any project is in the CNCF, like either at any state, sandbox or what are the other stages? Sandbox and
graduate,
mature. Yeah. So if there is any project, they can start their community.
Any project in the sense, I might be incorrect. I don't know which level, but some level of project do get a community.
Okay.
So once you go to the GitHub, you will be, they have the guidelines there. So you know ki, if you are a graduated project, you can have your own dedicated community.
Okay.
So yeah, you can do that. So yeah, I started doing all of this. उसी बीच में internally we were like platform engineering was a booming, something that was coming up. And again, Vishal was like, platform engineering कुछ तो हो रहा है, do you want to see, देखो क्या हो रहा है. And I had never written a CI/CD pipeline. My first CI/CD pipeline was, I think, last year that I wrote. That was GitHub Action. तो मैं बोला अच्छा ठीक है, मेरे को DevOps के बारे में नहीं पता है, मेरे को CI/CD के बारे में नहीं पता है, और मेरे को platform engineering के बारे में समझना है.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, so the idea again here was showing up. तुमको नहीं पता है कुछ टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में. So it was, again, if you see, it was a repeat of me getting into Kubernetes, having no idea of what Kubernetes is, but I was like, देख लेंगे. Same thing was happening here. Platform engineering का कोई clue नहीं था, DevOps का कोई clue नहीं था. Like, we'll go and see
explore
what happens.
On the go.
Correct. तो इनके community calls होते थे. I started going to all the community calls. I started listening to their conversations. I got a lot of learning from the conversations. अच्छा platform engineering में इस चीज की बात कर रहे. They talk something about abstractions. They talk about self-service. They talk about DevOps. They talk about the problems that DevOps solved, and the problems with DevOps that platform engineering solves. Portals क्या होते हैं, golden paths क्या होता है. So these were the discussions that were happening, and I used to just join the call, mute पे रहता था.
Yeah.
And I used to listen. And then they were doing a platform white paper, and this was under the tag app delivery platform working group. So they were publishing a platform white paper, and they were looking for contributors. And I was like, content I can do because I've been creating content. I know how to write. English तो मेरे को आती है.
Yeah.
CNCF landscape, tech landscape का idea, so I can definitely write tech. So I will review and contribute to that. So मैंने वो किया. So that artifact was published. And then they were working on the platform maturity model. So अब थोड़ा confidence आ गया था कि ठीक है, now I understand platform because I was part of the white paper initially that we did. And that white paper was mainly on helping people understand what exactly is a platform, what is platform engineering. So it was a very basic. So a recommendation, any of your audience who want to know or how to start platform engineering, check the platform white papers. You can just Google platform engineering white paper CNCF, you will find the PDF. That's the starting point. It tells you everything about why a platform exists, what are the various components, how to build a platform. वो सारी चीजें उसमें हैं.
Great.
So then we came to the maturity model, and now I was confident कि okay, now I have some idea of how the platform actually works.
Yeah.
So there are about 8 or 7 pillars within the platform maturity model, जिसके basis पे you decide the maturity of your organization when it comes to platform. So things like finance, things like do you have a dedicated platform team, things like interface. How do you build a platform कि आपका how developers interact with your platform. So when you are starting out, you will be having a shell script. You bash में जाके एक script लगाएगा और and it's still a platform. You still call it a platform.
Okay.
काम वो platform का कर रहा है लेकिन वो दिख नहीं रहा है because you are not too matured in your journey right now. Platform का काम होता है सब चीज standardize करना.
Okay.
If you have a YAML file, if all your developers can refer to that one YAML file, तो सबका आउटपुट जो आएगा वो एक स्टैंडर्डाइज YAML फाइल आएगी जिसमें कोई गलती नहीं होगी क्योंकि वो एक अप्रूव चीज है. तो ये चीज आप सिंपल पाइथन स्क्रिप्ट, सिंपल बैश स्क्रिप्ट के थ्रू आल्सो यू कैन इंप्लीमेंट. यू डोंट नीड अ फैंसी प्लेटफॉर्म टू डू implement this file. So this is your first level.
Okay.
So as you mature, as you grow, eventually you will have a full-fledged portal. जहाँ पे आपका developers can call your platform through APIs. Now AI आ गए तो they can interact with the platform through MCP servers. Right? Yeah. You could do all of it. So that is done by a mature level. Because interface मेरे को समझ में आ रहा था, I was like, I'll own this piece. So I was there along with a couple of folks from AWS and other things, and we were focusing on that part. तो उसमें जो मेरे को समझ में आया, contributed, engineering related, non-engineering related, वो paper पे काम हुआ, and then I was again a contributor to that maturity model that came out. And that maturity model was a very well received in the entire community. A lot of companies who do platform engineering refer to that maturity model. And it was around this time there was KubeCon happening in Chicago.
Okay.
And इसके पहले already internally, because InfraCloud was quite active in communities already. So we had engineers who were going and speaking at a lot of meetups. So I started looking at KubeCons and I submitted KubeCons in North America, Europe, but then obviously rejected because I had absolutely no idea on how this works. Second, no experience in tech, at least this cloud native side of things. Yeah. How to write a CFP, how to write an abstract.
But that required was not there, so it's fine.
Yeah, that was not there. So I kept getting rejections. रोज सुबह रात में सुबह उठो सुबह 4 बजे मेल आता है और top rejected. So I got used to it for almost 2-3 years and I was like, छोड़ो यार नहीं करना है ये.
This I need to learn from you because I am at the stage, the rejection phase I'm getting nowadays.
I still have a lot of rejections. I can show you my email. मेरे पास अभी भी बहुत सारे rejections पड़े हैं. But yeah, I mean those rejections came in and I was like, ठीक है यार नहीं करते हैं, हो गया ना, कुछ और करेंगे sort of.
Right.
And that's when the platform engineering community, they were meeting in Chicago.
Okay.
And they had 2-3 hours and they were like, we are doing project talks. Anyone who wants to give a talk can submit an idea here. And I was like, now I'm working in platform. I understand platforms. So I pitched a talk about Score. The Score is a CNCF project, which is a workload specification. तो उसमें basically ये होता है कि आप एक language में उसको अपना manifest दो, and it is able to convert it into different languages, whatever format you want. So I submitted that and that got selected. But that was happening in Chicago. So okay, I have a US visa because I was supposed to travel. COVID हो गया, मैं नहीं जा पाया. But now there is nothing that's stopping me. I applied for scholarship and I luckily got the scholarship.
Oh wow.
The Dan Kohn Scholarship. So my first KubeCon was in Chicago, November 2023. And it was a Dan Kohn Scholarship funding. So it was, again, everything was taken care of by CNCF. Thank you so much for that experience to CNCF, for that opportunity.
So
I went there.
Whole leg you got the Dan Kohn Scholarship of travel, right?
Yes, travel and stay for the duration of. So Dan Kohn usually you get travel and stay for the duration of KubeCon.
Okay.
So 3 दिन का KubeCon होता है, तो आपको 3 नाइट का स्टे मिलता है, 3 या 4 नाइट का.
So you were selected for the talk or the Dan Kohn Scholarship for only attending?
No, so this is completely different. So the Dan Kohn Scholarship back in the day had the ticket, had the travel, had the stay included.
Okay.
Right now in India, if you see, Dan Kohn is mainly for travel and stay, but they have a separate scholarship for registration as well, for tickets.
Okay.
India में अगर आप अभी KubeCon India की site पे जाते हैं,
Yes.
I mean now obviously it's over, but then they run that as two separate. So I got that. I went there. This talk was with the platform engineering community, जिनको मैं सिर्फ Zoom calls में देखता था, community calls में. Now I was meeting them in person. And all experts. And in that room, I think that was a very changing moment for me because we had folks from AWS, we had folks from Microsoft coming and talking about their platforms that they were building. So abhi agar aap search karoge Canoe by AWS, I mean, it's an open source thing, but AWS pitched that. You talk about Radius, which is Microsoft, this thing. And these are platforms that these companies have built. And the first time they spoke about this project was in that room. And I was sitting with the architects from Microsoft, from AWS, who are talking about the platform that they are building. Now it is still very stable, still integrated, but the first idea मेरे को उस room में सुनने मिला था कि ये ऐसी चीज बना रहे हैं और ये आने वाला है.
Okay.
And that was something I was like, ये चीज मेरे को online community calls में शायद नहीं मिलती.
Yeah, exactly.
When you are there, you get an opportunity to understand, discuss, do all of these things.
Yes.
So first KubeCon, I think project meeting was the only thing that I did. Talks में I think probably I attended a couple of talks, but then I was very much confused. क्योंकि कोई agenda नहीं था, because I was not even knowing whether the talk will be selected or not. Frankly, या scholarship मिलेगी कि नहीं. So it was zero agenda, but then I was there, and I think if I remember correctly, Sayam was there in Chicago at that time.
Okay.
Oshi was there, if I remember correctly. Oshi Gupta. These are the few people, and I remember going around. Sayam was already a pro.
Yeah, Sayam was doing a lot of stuff that time.
Yeah, so he already knew what happened.
It was 2023, right?
Yes, 2023. So ये हुआ था, and yeah, it was a very good experience. My first time traveling internationally. I enjoy travel. I enjoy creating content around travel. So काम एक जगह, travel एक जगह. So that was also fueling. Yeah, it's fun. So that trip I extended going to New York after it. I remember that was my Diwali in New York. And I'm like, I never expected Diwali in New York. ऐसा होने वाला है.
Yeah, Diwali था वहाँ.
And I never, exactly, and moreover, I never thought that I'll get to go to New York again. And अगले हफ्ते I'm going there again. ये मैंने कभी नहीं सोचा था कि मेरे को फिर से जाने का मौका मिलेगा. That's a full circle. So I think that KubeCon did a lot of things. So I came back. The platform engineering community were open for new organizers, new leaders to lead the community. And they nominated me ki, do you want to be leading the platform engineering community? And I was like,
wow.
Engineering wise, I don't know a lot of things, but I do understand what platforms are. But I think my goal was more around awareness and helping people. So this helping thing, which started with my travel blog and food recipe website in 2006, that still remains intact. So I was like, sure, I'll come here and my work would be to help people understand what the group is doing.
Exactly.
So again, I took the same thing which I did for CNCG Hyderabad. I will talk more about the platform engineering community. I'll tell more people about platform engineering community. We'll grow the community. We'll tell them what we are doing, right? We are on board, and then they onboarded me as the lead for the platform engineering community. And then I was sitting with these awesome people who are interacting, dealing with biggest platforms or biggest companies. A lot of learning there. And then KubeCon Paris happened. And then KubeCon Salt Lake City happened. I think that's when my first talk was selected in KubeCon Salt Lake City. I think one or two talks were there. And then I think since then, I think every KubeCon I've been speaking, fortunately. I submit CFPs, mainly in platform engineering. I spoke on AI and security in Amsterdam in March. Mumbai is happening.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then EC Beach mein, I think after KubeCon London or during London or I think during Paris, I don't remember which one. I was in India and I get an email from one of the folks from CNCF that, we are doing KubeCon in India, and I'm like, that's amazing that, you're doing KubeCon in India. And I always went there.
The first KubeCon in India, right? That was in 2024.
And yes, in Delhi. And that's where I think we met for the first time.
Yes. First time we met there only.
Exactly. So I was very passionate that this thing should come to India because not everyone gets a chance to attend KubeCon outside. And a lot of the contribution that is happening to any of these projects happen from India. So we initially thought they will do it in Bangalore. We tried to get them to Hyderabad. Hyderabad, Ajao, we don't want to do it in any other city because, these are tech hubs.
Yeah.
You want tech events to happen in tech hubs.
In the tech hub, right.
But I think probably it was the first time for CNCF as well. And maybe they wanted to play safe. They're like, we'll go to the capital of India.
Yeah, that may be the reason because it's a global event. So
exactly.
Maybe.
And capital and, even they would want to understand the country as well because India is such vast, itne sare cultures hain, itni sari cheezein hain, how to deal, what happens, flights, connectivity, this, that.
Right.
So that happened and that was a good KubeCon to kick off, right? I still remember Yashobhumi mein morning mein people were standing to, for registrations and it was such a good sight to see.
It was amazing. Like I also before that I attended in 2023, it was virtual. I think it was in Europe. And when I got to know that it's going first time in India, I was super excited that I have to attend it anyhow. And also that time I was also running GrowIn committee. So I thought, I also sponsored one ticket that I thought that I will attend, and not only me, I will also attend, sponsor one ticket for any student. So I make some task that writing a blog for how community helped you. Okay, so many people took participate and wrote a lot of blogs, good blogs. So I finalized one student and I sponsored the ticket for him. So it was like amazing experience.
This is beautiful. Not many people do that. And I think uske baad jo khushi aapko mili hogi na doing that.
Exactly.
That's incomparable.
Exactly. Because I'm also getting from the communities and the thing giving back to the community, right?
Right. Beautiful, yaar. I'm so happy that you did it. बहुत लोग नहीं करते हैं.
Yeah.
But you just doing it, I think it just speaks volume कि you got something from community and that's what you are giving back to the community.
Exactly.
So, great stuff. I think, so वो KubeCon was a very good start in India. And then obviously we knew कि second time भी KubeCon होगा India में. अब जब first हो गया तो second भी होगा.
Yeah.
And they already announced the place that they will be doing it in Hyderabad. Internally हो गया था, so I was already aware that that's happening in Hyderabad.
Okay.
That's like it's happening in my city, and I still remember every time I met Chris Anijak, the CTO at CNCF. Any KubeCon I met him, the only thing I told him was, KubeCon is coming to Hyderabad or KubeCon is coming to India. I want to volunteer. मेरे को volunteer करना.
Yeah, being a volunteer is a great opportunity, like to be a part of KubeCon.
Because do something.
Yeah.
Like I want to be associated with the community in some way or the other. I was even like कि मैं लोगों को बोलूँगा गाड़ी किधर पार्क करनी है. I can take a board and stand in the parking area and I'll tell them where to park your cars. I'll do that. But just get me involved in doing anything sort of, right? Unfortunately here they don't have a volunteer sort of thing for any KubeCons. And outside it's usually the event management company that takes care of everything. So volunteer का तो question था ही नहीं कि KubeCon में होने वाला है. But I kept on telling Chris कि यार, get me involved, let me do something. I'll write a blog post because I was already a CNCF ambassador and CNCJ Hyderabad वगैरह चल रहा था.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can do it. And then I think one fine morning I got an email from someone from CNCF and they were like, we were discussing and Chris and everyone had good feedback about you and we would want you to be the co-chair for KubeCon India. And I was like, this is not something that I was expecting. मैं कहाँ लोगों को गाड़ियाँ लगवाने की सोच रहा था पार्किंग में. Now you're asking me to be the co-chair for KubeCon.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a massive
Amazing.
thing to do. And I was like, yeah, I'll do anything. And I came back to Vishal at work and I was like, यार विशाल ऐसा ऐसा है. Like तूने हाँ बोला या ना बोला? हाँ तो इसमें हाँ ही बोला, इसमें ना का तो ऑप्शन ही नहीं था. So even as a org, right, it was a very big thing for the org that we had someone from that scale of a company getting to be co-chair at a KubeCon, and especially InfraCloud because we had been participating in. We are very close to Kubernetes. We had a lot of contribution to Upstream, a lot of other projects, a lot of other community events. So I was sort of very happy that personally also I'm growing, but then the org is also benefiting a lot because of all the contributions that they have done.
Absolutely.
So yeah, KubeCon Hyderabad, we started preparing for it. We got about 1,000 submissions, and that's when because I was on this side of the CFPs right now. क्योंकि अब तक तो हम CFP submit करते थे. But now I was on the other side, who was also reviewing CFPs and as a co-chair, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I realized why the CFPs get rejected. Why most CFPs get rejected.
Okay.
And I tell a lot of people, I think I would have told you multiple times, I would have told other people as well, that my only learning out of the entire CFP process was mathematics. It's not your title, it's not your abstract, it's not the track that you choose. I mean, it does matter, but the major thing that I realized was the math. Because let's say it's a 2-day event in India KubeCon. At max, including all the keynotes, let's say you can have about 50 talks.
Okay.
50 or 55 talks. And within that also, you will have 8 to 10 tracks. Platform engineering, observability, IoT, edge computing, whatever those 11 tracks are there.
Right.
Now imagine 1,000 submissions and imagine 50 I can select.
Yes.
Done. Half of the talks. And even it also depends a lot on the tracks as well. कि अभी आप देखो तो AI track में बहुत ज़्यादा competition.
Exactly.
Everyone will be submitting a talk on AI. So you have huge competition. I can select probably only if my total is about 50 talks, I could probably select max of maybe 10 or 12 or 8 for AI. Now I have 600 submissions for 8 talks. There is no way कि सबका select होने वाला है.
Obviously.
किसी ना किसी का तो miss होगा ही होगा.
Yes. There should be some uniqueness.
And that was No, I mean even if uniqueness is there, right? आप कितना भी unique कर लो, there would be 10 talks that would have got 5-star ratings.
Right.
How do you break this thing there?
Yeah. And how we will select those 5 who have 5 stars?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? And that's where the co-chair role is very critical. कि जब आपके पास ऐसी situation आ जाती है, how do you decide the talk that you need to take? And that is why a co-chair is very important because they understand the landscape of the local community. Okay. They understand what works over here. Like जैसे कोई मेरे से अभी पूछे तो I would say कि in India if you are giving a tech talk, Indian folks, Indian engineers want to see a lot of code. They want to see a lot of action. That's what I feel. And I might be completely wrong, but मेरे को ये लगता है कि यहाँ पे people want to see what you have done. If you are presenting a talk, show them a terminal, show them a code, and people are interested. और वो talk के बाद आपको 100 लोग घेर के पूछेंगे कि यार ये scale क्यों नहीं हुआ, यहाँ पे आपको pod में ये error क्यों आ गया. That curiosity of engineering is a bit too much here. So when I probably get a talk, 2 talks, same rating, same everything, I probably choose one that has a demo that probably shows how it is done, what it is doing, rather than something conceptual. Again, that's me. That's my thought. I'm not saying as a co-chair or as anyone, that's me as Atul.
That's a personal perception.
मेरे पास आएगा तो that's what I'll probably do.
Right.
So that co-chair experience, program committee reviews. So I started reviewing talks for other KubeCons as well, Salt Lake City and Japan and Amsterdam. So that started giving me more experience on how to review talks. Second, it helps me keep up with what is happening in the industry. Because जब CFPs आते हैं आपको एक trend पता चलता है कि what the focus right now is in the community, in the industry.
Yes.
So you learn that. Co-chair gives you a completely different experience, right? So Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we diverted a lot from
No,
how we
but the
started.
things are going like lot of learnings are there, like depth, how you start from the CFP and the co-chair, the selection criteria, a lot of things like holistic. This discussion is going to be holistic, like too much learnings from there. Yeah,
If it helps, I'm glad if it helps,
yeah,
because like I don't know, I just lose my thought here. But then I think a lot of people asked about speaking at events,
yeah.
uh, and my input, because I have seen the journey.
Mm-hmm.
I always say leverage the local communities as much as you can.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you want to travel. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people want to travel.
Mm-hmm.
CFC बात की बात हो जाती है, but people want to go to countries
Yeah.
and travel
Right.
and explore. And I'm not saying that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's correct. But I also feel कि before even you reach there, you start playing from a ground level.
Yeah, local communities, local
Exactly.
meetups.
आपको इंडियन टीम के लिए खेलना हो, you start playing for your taluka. You start playing for your district. You start playing for your state.
Yeah.
You start playing for your zone.
Yeah.
You start playing for India A. Then you get to Team India.
Yeah, same goes
Because
for
that
this.
journey is a learning.
Totally agree.
And that exactly is my philosophy when I became the organizer for Cloud Native Hyderabad.
Mm-hmm.
So every meetup that we do, we have one person who has never given a talk in their life.
Mm-hmm.
That's a mandatory thing that I have put in place.
Okay.
Because I have benefited from that. I had never given a talk. मेरे को ही community ने stage दिया.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do that for everyone else. And now I can see a lot of people, I can name people who have started from community. They started as attendees, they started as volunteers, they gave a talk at KubeCon and now Open Search Con and Open Source Summit. And even they are very happy seeing their own journey.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, हमने उस stage से शुरू किया था. And now, you know, you're traveling internationally and speaking at global conferences. So
right.
That's why I tell everyone, if there are local communities around you, Delhi mein, obviously it's very easy because you have a lot of communities. You have Noida, you have Greater Noida. You have,
exactly. Gurgaon, Delhi, Noida. A lot of communities are there.
A lot of things are happening. And the only thing that I tell everyone is, you just need to dedicate maybe 1 or 2 hours once in a month. आप एक meetup ही attend करो. Just go there. Understand what's happening in the community. You will get to know what the local community is. आपको एक इंडस्ट्री का पल्स पता चल जाएगा कि हो क्या रहा है यहाँ.
Exactly.
कई बार ऐसा होता है कि you are stuck with some problem and when you go to a meetup you get a solution or you get some way to unblock yourself.
Yeah.
कि आप कुछ कर रहे हो and suddenly किसी स्पीकर ने कुछ बोल दिया and you will be like, अरे मैं भी तो यही कर रहा हूँ, ये भी तो यही कर रहा है, इसने कैसे कर दिया, right? So and that is where you will learn and go back something, and then आप उसको basis पे आपने कुछ बनाया and that is what you come back and you tell people कि this is what I've done and this is, you know, how things are working. So I think that's where the whole idea of community, meetup, everything comes into picture.
Exactly. So just I want to share that when I started my tech journey in 2022, before that I was preparing for UPSC. Like I prepared like around 8 to 10 years. It was a decade, you can say. So
Sure.
In the preparation mode, and I started in the tech in 2022. So I was totally new because of mechanical background and all the stuff new. So I got to know, I followed some people on Twitter, tech Twitter. So I followed Sayam Pathak and Kunal Kushwaha, Rishabh and Rohit Ghumre. Like I had the knowledge of diverse because of UPSC. So I thought कि many of the students, they have extra knowledge from me, but I need to compete with them. So what extra I can do? So I just followed on Twitter, whatever they were sharing. I just used to ask question on Twitter, and literally I paste 10 techie person name on my wall. Like I need to follow these 10 people and I will ask question from them wherever, like on YouTube or anywhere. So and then I got to know about the conference, local meetup, communities and all that stuff. So I thought I will not sit in my room. I will do whatever because I have nothing in the past. Like so, gain करने के लिए जो भी हुआ मैं किया. तो local meetup में गया, वो पता चला कि how to interact with people. But in starting, like 2 meetup was very bad experience. I was total shy person and could not communicate. But third meetup was very interesting. It was DevOps day in Gurgaon.
Okay.
So here,
Nice.
Rohit Ghumre was there. So
Okay.
first time I met him, and before that I was, as you say, na, कि you were meet someone in the conference, you were following on LinkedIn and Twitter
Right.
only. So that was the moment for me. I met Rohit Ghumre and asked a lot of things, and he also suggested that you can do a lot of great in tech also, because of you also have
Right.
experience of UPC preparation, but it's fine. So that helped me a lot, and I learned in communities. There were some communities, and I used to be present in the mute and just listen what students are saying.
Right.
And after
Right.
some time I thought, okay, if I get chance, I can also start a small group kind of thing where I can
Right.
learn along with the others, because many people would be there who have career gap, who want to switch in the tech. So that
Right.
with one thought I started the GrowIn committee with the study group, and with the time it become very big. Like people used to come, I used to like, I call some experienced person to teach me, like I ask them, and many people just attending the class or
Or part
session
of the
Discord
college.
server,
Wow.
and they are also learning. So many
Right.
people got to know, like Piyush Sachdeva, he's in right now he is in Canada working in Google,
Okay.
and like there is
Okay.
another person, Guru Raghupati, he's in London, solution
Okay.
architect. So
Uh,
many people across the world like got to know because of that, and they also started coming in the community session. I used to start learning
right.
from them, and along with me many people were learning. So that worked
Right.
for me. Like in that way I learned a lot. I don't have the other things, because of community, because of meetup, that worked for me.
You are the best example of it.
Yeah.
You know, just taking, just being there and just showing up. I think that's the whole
Exactly.
point over here.
And whatever I was
Uh,
learning, I was sharing on the LinkedIn and Twitter. That's it. I used to bring
Yeah,
notes
that's-
and sharing the all the stuff.
Yeah. I think that's what is more important, because that is where you probably connect with people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you connect, because a lot of people will be like, अरे हाँ यार ये तो मेरे जैसा ही है, इसको भी नहीं आता, इसको भी नहीं पता है hand chart क्या होता है.
Yeah.
Let's sit together and understand hand chart क्या होता है, sort of, right? So I think that's where you connect, and that's the whole part of the community. You know people, you get to know things, you get connected to people, and then job में referrals आ जाते हैं. Like
Yes.
my proudest moment of running community here is people getting jobs by attending the meetup. And whenever they meet me, they are like, "यार अतुल, मैं तेरे ये फलाना meetup में आया था, and I got a job." Now I see a lot of people here are inspired by communities. So we did the CNCF 10-year birthday party last year.
Yeah.
And we had two people, we had about 200, 300 people coming in, but there were these two people who attended it, and all senior folks in terms of designations, and they were like, the first time we were attending a meetup. Tech meetup क्या होता है और community क्या होता है, and we saw what you were doing, ऐसे कैसे होता है, and how this works here.
Yeah.
Last week, one of them completed Grafana Con local, the first meetup in Hyderabad. The person started the community. He came to one of the meetups. He understood कि यार ये क्या होता है, कैसे होता है, मैं भी कर सकता हूँ. Got inspired, got back, started a dead community sort of. Like Grafana was not very active, if I
Yeah.
could say.
Yeah.
They became a very active community in the last 1 year. We had a Grafana Con last week. Next month end, we are having the first SRE day in Hyderabad. We had never had this before. And both the organizers had come to my meetup at one point, and they got inspired or whatever. कि यार ये चीज तो हमको भी करनी चाहिए. And I think that's the whole point for me. Like, people come, they probably take back something, they implement, and if they are happy and if they are benefiting from it, that's the best thing that I can do.
Absolutely. That's a great. Like, many of the folks who will watch this video will learn like how communities work, how communities are helpful. I also wanted to ask the question, but I think we covered about that, how community work and what is the importance of conferences, CNCF Ambassador, Cloud Native, right? So great. Like now we will give some more insight in the DevRel part, like you mentioned about those 3C, because nowadays many people just don't know about the exact meaning of DevRel. Yesterday, I think day before yesterday, there was Sayam Pathak's live stream on YouTube, like job kahan hai. So he also discussed about DevRel, and many people still were asking in the chat that what is DevRel like this. So as you are also in that field, and so what's your explanation in detail, like those 3C. Like I am also working as a open source evangelist for Omondo. It's a European company.
Sure.
And working for
I know the company.
Yeah.
I have met your CEO, I think, at
Clubs.
KubeCon. Yes, I think.
KubeCon Denmark, I think.
KubeCon, I don't remember.
Since
No. So Denmark had KCD.
Yeah, KCD.
I don't know if it was London or yeah. Is it my internet?
I think signal, yeah.
Now I'm back, yeah.
Yeah. So where you meet? Okay. In London.
Yeah, I think I met him at some KubeCon. I don't remember which. I think it was London.
Okay.
London or Atlanta. I'm not recollecting of it, but I have met him, yeah, so I know.
Yeah. So great. Like, so what would you like to share about if many of the people just nowadays, because of the travel and all, students or folks are very fascinated about, like, it's a traveling job, it's very like you need to give a talk and travel a lot of good stuff. So what exactly you want to share so that the coming people who want to enter in the DevRel part, they can get insights?
So I will have a different opinion here, which probably a lot of people might not like it, might not agree as well. But anything that a DevRel does as an umbrella or as the work that most of you see can be done by anyone who is not a DevRel by designation.
Okay.
You can do all of these things even if you are not a you can do all of this even if you don't have the designation of a developer relations engineer or a developer advocate or an evangelist. You can be a hardcore engineer. You can still give talks because you have done things hands-on. You can still travel if that is your goal, sort of. But then this designation or this title is not necessary for you to do things. So a lot of people ask me that, I'm into QA or I'm into development and I want to be a DevRel. How do I go there? And my only answer to them is this, that you don't need a designation to go there. What you can do is in your current role itself, you can start doing all of those things. See, you don't need a designation to do content. You don't need a designation to write a LinkedIn post. You don't need a designation to submit a CFP.
Right.
Anyone who is not a DevRel can do this as well. So that designation should not stop you from doing it. If you are interested, if you are passionate about doing this, you will do it whether you are a DevRel or not.
Correct.
That is just a designation and that's how I see it. That's just a title. आप काम DevRel नहीं होके भी आप DevRel का काम कर सकते हो. Obviously, there's a lot of things will come in terms of the organization that you are part of. What is your role in that company? How do things work? So I know a lot of dynamics will come in.
Yeah.
But I think to start with, if anyone wants to get into DevRel, you don't need to get into DevRel to get into DevRel.
Yeah.
You can just pick up an area, like you want to get into AI, right? Or you want to get into infra, you want to get into observability, you want to get into security. Figure out your area. Whatever you are learning, do it in public. Build POCs, build demos, share it in public. Because the whole idea of DevRel or developer advocacy or developer relations umbrella is you talk to developers. And when you talk to developers, you need to understand your tech really well. I cannot come and talk to a developer talking about something which I don't know well. Because a developer will not ask me surface level product related questions.
Right.
They will ask me what happens if I scale your product to 1 million. Will it handle? So as a developer advocate, as a developer relations, you need to have an answer to it. You need to be a technical person. Unfortunately, a lot of people miss out on that technical part of it, or a lot of them miss out on the developer part of the relations.
Exactly.
People focus on relations.
Exactly. This
people focus on evangelist, but they forget the engineering part of it. So that is where I think my whole idea is, or my whole thinking or whole philosophy is, you are an engineer first. Everything else comes afterwards. And it's all about how well you are able to communicate those engineering concepts. And to do that, you don't need a designation of DevRel.
Right.
If you can build something and if you can explain it to someone how you have built it, and if that person agrees and understands what you have done, you are a very good person when it comes to DevRel.
Right. That's a golden advice. Yeah.
That's what I would say. And again, within DevRel, there are a lot of roles where the kind of work that you do will change based on the organization as well.
Right.
So a lot of times, like when I talk about 3Cs, right, there are DevRel roles which are focused only on communities.
Okay.
And these are the people who will focus, whose KPIs would be building communities. So their KPI is how many developers joined our platform. So within a month, we want to onboard 5,000 developers. So this is their KPI. So how they will onboard 5,000 developers? They'll start doing meetups in different cities. They'll start connecting with developers. So if you are a community person, and see, remember, a lot of community people might not be techies. They might not be writing code. They would be purely focused on community because that's their interest, that's their goal.
Yeah.
So within DevRel, if you are a community person, there are community roles where you lead user groups, where you lead communities. Your goal is meetups, your goal is events. KPIs are different. A lot of people who have spoken to me that they wanted to get into DevRel, but they decided not to get into DevRel because for them, engineering was more important. Okay. They were like, from whatever I discussed with you, I will not get a chance to work on a production server. I will not be able to scale my service to 1 million services. And I'm like, I'm not saying that you will not be able to do it as a DevRel, but the chances of doing that will reduce. Because as a DevRel, you sit between a marketing and an engineering team, between a product team. So you are dealing with 6-7 different people. So a team who is dealing with 7 people, in my opinion, cannot be dedicated to a production environment.
Exactly.
Because he has 10 different things, 10 different people to do it.
Already so diverse field is there, right?
Exactly. And those few people I spoke to, they were like, nahi yaar, mera engineering hi theek hai, I don't want to get into DevRel, main aise hi blog post likh raha hu. And like, sure. So you need to have that clarity. A lot of people who want to do in-depth research, in-depth engineering, core engineering stuff, maybe, you might not like this because this is a very unstructured role. This is a very, ambiguous role. You have absolutely no idea what you are doing. There will be months where you have not written a single line of code. You will just be working on content. You would be creating videos. You would be working on LinkedIn post, blog post. आपने एक line का code नहीं लिखा होगा. And after a point, you will be like, do I remember coding? Am I going to forget it? I have not written a code. Every day you wake up, now you will see a new model coming in. Yeah. And you are like, how do I keep up with this? अगर मैं नहीं करूँगा तो train छूट जाएगी मेरी.
Yeah, exactly. So, it happens.
That's the thing with this role as well, apart from everything else, that you need to be updated, you need to be in terms of connected with what's happening. So that's a different part which a lot of people don't understand. It's only once you get in, then you realize that, okay, this is a problem that you need to work on as well.
Right. That makes sense. Like a complete picture or a great insights from your side behind the scene. Like the community person, DevRel person, and how the tech knowledge is important to be a good DevRel kind of stuff, right? That's awesome.
Right.
That's awesome. I am sure like people who just want to go or just looking forward for the DevRel, they will get a lot of insights from this.
I hope so. But yeah, happy to help if they have any questions. I'm sure you also have a lot of insights to share.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So and my next things to ask from you, like what about open source? Like, many people are also like talking about open source, which is in the current situation, and that's amazing to contribute in that, and many people also get a jobs opportunity from there. So what is the future or what is the current thing which you want to share of open source, like how it is important?
I think contributing, or the whole idea of, again, your idea of giving back to the community, that needs to stay in place, irrespective of the way you are contributing. So whether you are doing a code contribution, whether you are doing a non-code contribution, whether you are doing just putting a LinkedIn post and helping a community get more registration, right? All of this is helping a community, and you are contributing to an open group, open culture that is being built. Now, in depth, if you ask, I think open source is there to stay. Obviously, there's no doubt that this is going anywhere. I think what this helps you, and I'm not going to focus too much on tech. You will obviously, whoever is contributing on tech, you will learn a lot of tech. You will get to understand patterns. You will get to understand reasons why a particular pattern was chosen and not a particular, different way of doing it. So engineering wise, obviously you learn a lot if you're contributing to an engineering or a core code base. But I think what it also teaches you is a rounded thinking of building a feature. See, what happens as a developer when you're working in a team, right? You might have a story or you might have a user story that you will be working on. So you are limited to your story. You are told the story is you click this button, this file should be copied and pasted over there. So when you are working on that feature, your goal is only that. So you will implement a button which will copy files, probably run an integration test, it works fine, and you are done. So you are not looking at anything outside of that. But when it comes to working in such diverse groups, on such diverse projects, your understanding of systems and applications improve automatically. Because you are dealing with things which is widespread and large code bases, and they are using some fundamental tech, right? So it's not like you are just focusing on understanding the syntax or logic or language, but you are also understanding why a particular decision was made to handle concurrency, or why a particular decision was made to handle scaling. So you get a rounded understanding and growth and learning while you are contributing to such projects. So this becomes your learning part when it comes to engineering and the product mindset, if you can say. Similarly, it helps you communicate with the diverse set of people. And that I feel is a very underrated thing in tech. People think, yaar, mere ko tech aata hai, I can build Rust applications, I can write this scaling thing. But if you cannot talk about your project or product with anyone, it's of no use, because you are very rarely going to be a one-person man building something. Usually you will be working as a part of team. So working with teams, working with people from different cultures, different languages, different time zones, different backgrounds. I think this is something that open source gives you, and that's a very good opportunity for anyone to get into, learn and understand. Because वो experience आपको बाकी कहीं कंपनी में नहीं मिलने वाला.
Right.
What you get over here, right? So by the time you actually spend like 1 or 2 years, you are already working with global teams. You are working in different time zones. You understand project management. You understand the value of GitHub issues. You understand the value of async communication. You understand why a Jira board is necessary. You probably know why an Excel sheet is used or why taking notes are. So what I'm trying to say over here is that apart from engineering itself, when you are doing and building or contributing to any open source project, whether it's code or non-code, you learn so many things that it helps you build your foundations and your systems. So in future, when you're approaching anything, you have learned something and you'll try to implement. Like for me, immediately right now, whatever happens in life, whether it's tech, non-tech, travel, food, anything, my friend is Google Sheet. People who follow me on Instagram know that the moment my trip is done, I show a summary of all my expenses from a trip. So I still have an Excel sheet. I put all my expenses in the Excel sheet. I do a lot of things based on Excel sheet. And this is what I learned in Wipro. So that organization is so structured. Everything is in place. Everything has a very well-defined process. That combined with MBA, with a lot of frameworks, how to do things, combined with whatever I'm doing now, I work on structures, I work on framework. So the moment you throw 15 things which doesn't make sense, I know I'm good at putting it into tables, putting it into an Excel sheet. And immediately in 5 minutes, I'll be like, अच्छा इसको ऐसे ऐसे करके ऐसे ऐसे कर सकते हैं. How do you get this? When you are part of such diverse team, when you are working on different things, you automatically develop that skill.
Right.
आप किसी को देखोगे कि आप, maybe let's say you are talking to a maintainer of some project and you connect with them every week and you realize कि यार ये आदमी हर चीज के लिए Google Doc खोलता है. Eventually, down the line, you will become a person who probably opens the Google Doc and starts writing.
Totally.
You think that works for you. That's what I do. Whenever I get into a call, first thing is notepad खोलो, start typing.
Yes.
Even in this age of AI, when you have AI transcriptors, लोगों के Fireflies AI आते हैं teams में. They take transcription, but I still have my notepad where I'll take notes because that's who I am.
Right.
Because once you start writing, once you start doing, you will start assimilating things in a better way. So TLDR version is when you start doing all of this, tech के अलावा बहुत सारी learnings है that can help you grow as a professional. Not only as a professional, but even in your personal life. आप वो Excel sheet से finances भी manage कर सकते हो अपने, आप वो Excel sheet से अपने project के task भी manage कर सकते हो.
Yes.
And all this learning will happen when you are working with such diverse teams.
Yes. Totally agree. That makes sense. Like great insight from that. And I remember I give talk in KCT Delhi. So that was on AI assisted Kubernetes policy. Okay,
Okay.
using Kyverno. So that
Okay.
time I explore like the stuff, and along I gave the talk along with my co-speaker. So he is working as a SRE in my company. Okay, so
Okay.
he has a like good tech stuff. So and I am working as a evangelist, so not so much deep, but I explored that time about Kyverno. And recently I got to know that their project is in CNCF and recently got graduated. So
Graduated.
yeah,
Yes.
I started involving, so that make me curiosity that okay, I have prepared for that talk and a lot of stuff happened. So that made me curious to go inside that, and how in my organization with the KubeAid, which we are using open source tool for managing Kubernetes cluster, and so we are managing the policy with the help of the Kyverno. So I started digging in the Kyverno and got to know about there is a Slack channel of that, and I started like, because that this also open source, I started exploring on their Slack channel. So I got how things are going in open source, and I searched their website. I got to found some outdated words, so I inform on the committee, like Courtney, she's a committee head there of. So
By the way, I
yeah.
just got a message from Courtney.
Oh, that's she have a long life.
Yes.
Great. So I informed him in the Slack channel. So she was very happy. So in that way, I got to know it's a like open source contribution which you are talking about. Either it can be code in form of code, or that in form of docs or any form. So that helped me to realize okay, things are going like way, and they are also doing every week, I think, their community call. So I
Community
also
calls.
started
Right.
attending that. So to
Nice.
gaining something like how things are working, how global
Yeah,
team
yeah.
is working.
You
So
will definitely learn, even if it's not a product or engineering. Like I said, you will learn the processes.
yeah,
And that process, somewhere or the other point in life, it is going to help you.
exactly. So yeah, so got a lot of insight from your that thought of open source, which I didn't know that perception. So that's amazing.
Thank
So
you.
the next thing I want to ask that about AI, like every things is collaborating with the AI. So how do you think that things would be different in field of either cloud computing or DevOps or other stuff with the help of AI? Like we are seeing our work is going to be like with the help of AI. We are uh, reducing the speed and using the tools. So what's your take on that? How do you think?
So, like I myself use AI for a lot of things. Whether it is building POCs or getting my infrastructure built. Because I know 3 years pehle, if I had to build a demo, I have to go to log into, or maybe, use Google CLI or an AWS CLI and then ask it to spin up a cluster and deploy something. Now I just have an agent. I tell the agent, have access to CLI, go and create a cluster, deploy this application, and that's done, right? So what that gives me time is to think more about the actual project that I have to build. What is the thing that I have to show? Now, when AI comes here, obviously we are reducing the speed at which things are being done. Basically, we are improving the speed, not reducing, but reducing the time, increasing the speed. Yeah, that's better. And what will happen, and what's already happening over here, is that your very mundane tasks are already taken care of by AI, which is basically things that you do repeatedly, right? Which are things like setting up something or copy pasting something or finding patterns, right? The AI is good at it, and I think wherever it is good at, where it has proven, you actually make use of it. But then your own expertise of the domain, your own understanding of the infrastructure that you have, this is something that AI cannot have, and I will still say it cannot have. No matter how much good context you provide, no matter what you do, it still is going to do something based on what it is showing. So AI is working on LLMs, all these models, and these models are trained on some data. And whatever they are doing is based on what they are trained on. So if they are not trained on your infrastructure data, if they are not trained on whatever you do, whatever output they give you will never match what you need. It might match to a certain percentage, but it might not be exactly what you need. So that is where people like us who have good understanding of the domain who know how to use AI tools. So you should be able to use to communicate with AI in a better way. So, DevRel engineers, but talking to AI models.
Yeah.
Instead of developers, now you're talking to AI models and get them to do the things, get them to get things done what you need, right? So you need to give prompts, you need to understand what you need. So you need to have clarity of what you want. जब तक आपको clarity नहीं होगी तब तक आप AI को नहीं बोल सकते कि ये बना.
Right. How we can
So I'll
take
give
from
you an
them.
example. Yeah. So I'll give you an example. Right now, my dad is a pharmacist. So he used to make medicines and cough syrups and so he's a proper research scientist. And he's about 65 now.
Okay.
So he uses an Android phone, and just like all of us, he has 6-7 Google accounts. And he has 6-7 Drive accounts. So he uploaded his driving license or something in one of the Drive accounts, and he was like, ये मैं सर्च नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, मुझे पता नहीं कौन से अकाउंट
किस पे है, right?
Because there are 6 accounts. He didn't remember which account, and you cannot spend time going through this.
Exactly.
He asked Gemini. Gemini is there on his phone. He opened Gemini, asked Gemini, find my driving license. Gemini was like, I cannot find it in this account. So I was like, अच्छा ठीक है. Then he created a Gemini account with the other Gmail ID. And then he realized कि यार 8 account है, 8 Gemini के account बनाऊंगा ना 8 Gemini में थोड़ी पूछूंगा whether this file exists or not. And this is what we were discussing one day. And he told me this. मैंने बोला एक काम करो आप Gemini से पूछो if it can give you a tech solution for this. कुछ कोड वोड लिख के दे सकता है क्या आपको ये? तो started chatting with Gemini, and again he's not a tech person. So normal, अच्छा Gemini tell me ऐसे ऐसे करना है ये वो करना है. This is how he was interacting with Gemini. And Gemini told him to use something called as Google Apps Script.
Google Apps Script.
So this, yeah.
Okay.
So this basically is so all your G Suite, आपके Google Calendar sheet with जो भी हो गया, इसके backend में you can create functions. You could call it as event based trigger sort of. तो आप एक function वहाँ पे लिखो. That function can access, let's say if you are creating a Google Sheet related function, so it can access all the Google Sheet related functions.
Okay.
So you can access a cell, you can access a sheet. आप ये सारी चीजें कोड से कर सकते हो और आप एक ट्रिगर डाल दो वहाँ पे. So it could be a webhook, it could be HTTP trigger, it could be a cron trigger. तो उस टाइम पे वो Google की स्क्रिप्ट चलेगी. So your compute is on the Google server. You are not paying for compute. आपने बस एक स्क्रिप्ट लिखी है जो कुछ काम करेगा. So what, and obviously I was involved in that process, so I helped him a little, but eventually what he built completely on his own with Gemini is, Gemini suggested him to create the script which basically lists all the files which are there in his Drive folder.
Okay.
So Google Drive के root पे that script will run and it will list everything that is present in the Drive. We did this script to run in all his Gmail accounts.
Okay.
So he has 8 scripts which were getting details of all the files which are present in that Drive account. All of these scripts were dumping the output in one single Google Sheet.
Wow.
So in that one single Google Sheet, we had content of all these 8 Google accounts,
8 accounts, yeah.
with file name, with folder, with everything. इसके ऊपर हमने एक UI layer बना दिया, which is a front end, which is a simple HTML based form, JavaScript. So you search in that box and it is going to search that Google Sheet that we have. And it will exactly tell you which file is placed in which drive folder.
Wow, amazing.
And he built this, I would still say on his own. Obviously, मैं थोड़ा बहुत involved था, but he did this.
Yeah.
And last year, 25, I think 2025, there was a GDG Hyderabad event. And I had submitted a talk with my dad. और मैंने बोला कि आप ये talk वहाँ दो. So he has never given a tech talk. He is 65. तो ये tech talk उन्होंने GDG में दिया था. कि how I used AI to build an application to solve my problem.
Amazing.
And that's what I try to tell everyone कि अगर आप AI को use अच्छे से कर सकते हो, irrespective of whether you are a software person or not,
yeah,
you can build something to solve your problem.
Yeah.
तो आप अपने आसपास problem ढूंढो, anything that creates a problem for you, you have AI that will help you to create a solution for it. So my dad right now has a GitHub repo. He pushes changes, he commits changes to the GitHub repo. He uses Lovable, he uses Gemini, he uses Notebook LM, and yeah, so he does that. Today we were discussing about Notebook LM and PPT generation or something.
Wow, amazing. That's a really amazing story. Like nowadays, what I know that many people just even don't know about how much tools are there. Like they are still using only ChatGPT. But it's great to listen that your dad is using that notebook LLM and Gemini and all the stuff. That's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
so.
So I keep
Yeah,
learning, I keep throwing stuff to him. So again, the main thing is interest. He has his interest of
exactly,
learning कि
exactly,
ये मेरे को solve करके दे. ये मेरा
exactly.
problem है मेरे को solve करके दे, right? So yeah. So I
Uh,
think anyone who wants to do AI, start AI, or whether you are working or not working or whatever, आपके आसपास कोई अगर आपको problem दिखती है कि यार ये मेरी problem है,
right.
try to solve it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Take help from the AI
Yeah, AI
tools.
can do it.
Yeah.
Tell it to AI, AI will do it. But like
Just
one of my problems was my fitness watch. So I
okay.
wear this watch, it takes my steps and everything, and then I do my body weight analysis every week sort of. तो मैं क्या करता था, मैं उसका स्क्रीनशॉट लेके क्लाउड को देता था एंड उसको पूछता था भाई क्या हुआ है. So I've been doing this for almost 6-8 months. So obviously it has the entire data of 8 months
Wow.
on how my weight has been going, how my skeletal mass is moving, how my vitals are moving, ये सारी चीजें. बट मेरे को प्रॉब्लम लगता है यार हर बार मैं फोटो खींच के क्यों अपलोड करूँ. This is insane. Why
Is
do I
there
do
something
this?
automate?
So last
Yeah.
Exactly. So last weekend I sat and made this at one of the cafes. Claude के साथ बैठा, and the whole idea was get the data out of my Galaxy Watch to my phone, from my phone to my home server. Home server में I have an N8N running, which basically is a webhook trigger. वो सारा data उठाता है, उसको एक Postgres में डालता है. Postgres के ऊपर Grafana बैठा हुआ है. So Grafana is visualizing my steps and my weight and my sleep, everything on a Grafana dashboard. And on that, we created an MCP server,
Wow.
which is exposed by Tailscale and which is coming to Claude. अब मेरे को Claude को ये data manually upload करने की जरूरत नहीं. Claude always has access to my fresh data through my MCP server, which is running on my home lab server.
Wow.
जो tunnel के through आ रहा है, so data is mine. It is running on my home lab, and Claude has access to it. So this was my problem. I was like, इसको solve करते हैं. It took me one Saturday and it is done.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Really, it's like giving us a spark how we can solve our daily use problem, daily issues. Right? That's amazing.
I think that's whole point AI is about. And the last thing which I'll add over here before we can start wrapping up
Yeah.
is a lot of people get overwhelmed, and even I'm overwhelmed with AI. The moment you open, especially the things that Rohit is doing, the speed at which Rohit is doing,
Yeah.
anyone will get scared कि ये हो क्या रहा है.
Exactly.
You get up in morning, he talks about params and hyperparameters and some tuning and some evals, and you are completely lost. So the analogy that I give everyone is of cricket to AI. See, if you want to play cricket, if your dream is to play cricket, if your passion is to play cricket, आपको पता है कि इंडिया में how difficult it is to play for the Indian team,
Exactly.
to go there on the pitch and play. But that doesn't mean that your dream of playing cricket or your passion of playing cricket should be stopped.
Yeah.
So there are different avenues that you can take to still be associated with the game. For example, you can become a Harsha Bhogle. That is, you become a commentator and you are still connected with the game. You are on the field, you are
Right.
connected with the game. You become a Gaurav Kapoor or you become a Mayanti Langer, sports presenter, still associated with the game. You become an umpire, you are on the field, you are playing the game. You become a stats guy, still with the game. You become a pitch reporter, still
Still
related
the
to it.
game.
So there are different ways and you are still connected with the game. And I think that's what with the AI is. If you
Exactly.
don't understand models, you don't need to probably focus on how this model is made, what are transformers, how evals, what are weights, what are parameters. You probably don't need to focus that much on how an LLM is made if your focus is to build applications using AI.
Yes.
आप AI के through you want to go into research, pure research, sure, go and see how models are made. Create your own models. If you are into infrastructure, talk about ML ops, talk about AI ops, how you deploy AI workloads, understand what ML ops is. For that, you don't need to understand what an LLM is. I mean, you don't need to go into the depth of understanding how an LLM was built or what decisions it is taking, right? Similarly, if you're white coding, you probably need to know how many tokens you are using, what model is giving you better output. You probably don't need to know how that model was created, what are the weights which should run, a lot of things like that, right? So even when it comes to AI, there are different areas in AI that you should focus on based on your own interest. If you're not interested in infrastructure, don't go get yourself into scheduling GPU workloads and GPU nodes on different Kubernetes cluster. No, you will not succeed in that because you don't like it. You are forcing yourself to do it.
Yeah.
If you are interested in building AI, you have to do vibe coding. If you're interested in understanding how GPU works with, dynamic resource allocator that's just released with Kubernetes, focus there. Don't write code. Understand
Yes.
the infrastructure if that's your interest. So AI has everything for everyone. You pick what you want to do, and सबके लिए उसके बाद बहुत सारी चीजें करते हैं.
Yeah.
तो एक आप एरिया उठाओ, start working towards it.
Yeah, that's a golden word. Really, that's a golden word. Like,
क्योंकि अगर आप वो नहीं करोगे ना, there is so much of information on the internet, right? You open Twitter, you open LinkedIn, you will be confused, and that will probably scare you, if that is the right word or for the lack of better word, कि आप AI आगे फिर शुरू ही नहीं करो, because you'll have no idea where to start from, because every day you are being thrown with few things.
yeah.
कोई बोलेगा आज लर्निंग हो रही है, किसी ने ओपन क्लॉ बना दिया, कल हर्मीज एजेंट आ गया, फिर कुछ रस्ट का आ गया, एंड यू विल ऑलवेज बी लाइक, जी हो क्या रहा है?
Right.
Because you don't have clarity. If you are clear, do you really need an open claw? नहीं चाहिए. You read about what it is, you are done with that. You don't need to implement open claw on your laptop and run 1,000 agents to do something. नहीं. आपकी जरूरत क्या है? आप अपनी जरूरत के हिसाब से डिप्लॉय करो और चीजें बनाओ. हो सकता है आपका काम ChatGPT के फ्री वर्जन से भी हो जाए.
Right.
Because that's what your use case is. You don't need to run a Llama 7 billion parameter on your MacBook with Olama and get inference and 65 tokens per second. नहीं चाहिए.
नहीं चाहिए,
It's not
right.
your requirement. So that's how I see it. Again, I might be wrong in saying this, but
Yeah.
जो आपकी problem है, आपकी problem जो solve करती है, pick that up, learn, dedicate time to it. Everything else you need to know what it is, but not probably in depth कि मेरे को I need to understand how a model is built or
Yeah.
whatever of that.
No need to go that engineering side, how to build that model, but just be a person, have a curiosity, and just find out the solution of your problem with the help of AI. You can
Right.
get a lot of stuff.
Right. If the solution is AI ops, understand that. If the solution is you want a newer model, research and build a new model for it. Right?
Right.
If the solution is just building a vibe coding app, just vibe code and do it.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Exactly. If you have interest in that field, just go for it. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
That's why I know the time is going a lot of like extending, but really, personally, I am learning a lot, and I hope so. The audience will see, the folks will see this video. They will learn a lot. It's going to be a like
I
master
hope
class.
so too.
Really.
I hope so too. That they also like it.
Really.
But yeah, it was great talking.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So just last question I want to ask from before wrapping up. So as we all know that in every 6 months new tools are coming because of AI and other stuff. Everything is changing in this fast paced world. How you learn new things or new tools? So if you want to share, because every time like if I learn one thing, I just forget the other one. That happens. So how do you tackle this challenge?
So I think one of the ways that I spend time learning is, again, figure out that the area that you're passionate or you're focused on. For me, for example, it's platform engineering. So whatever I'm learning or focusing on is how AI is going to affect platform engineering. I'm not looking at anything outside of that. So that makes my learning very much structured कि I need to look at this particular window only. मेरे को इधर क्या हो रहा है उसमें उतने डिटेल में जानने की जरूरत नहीं.
Okay.
I need to know that new agents are coming, new models are coming. That's news. That's okay. I can subscribe to a newsletter. I can subscribe to people. So I'll get that news at least. Let's say ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है, sort of, right? I mean, I have an N8N flow that is doing that for me. जो मेरे लिए news ऐसे वो करके, it gives me what I need. It ranks whatever data it finds based on my interest, my profile. It will rank all the data and send me a Telegram message कि भाई आज रात में ये हुआ है, and it will send me only things that matter to me, which is platform engineering and AI. It will not send me कि नया model आया या जो भी आया, sort of, right? So see, this is another problem how you can use AI to solve your problem. You want to keep up with news, build a workflow, build an AI agent that actually does all of these things for you, right? So I think TLDR, if focus on one particular area that you are interested in, once you have that in place, आपका learning process automatically easier हो जाए. So in that you can go in depth, you can go in breadth, you can understand कि बाकी चीजों से integrate कैसे हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है. And then उसके बाद, क्योंकि एक बार आपके पास एक स्ट्रक्चर या एक बकेट है या एक कैटेगरी है that you are focusing on, उस कैटेगरी के अराउंड आपको रिसोर्सेज इजीली मिल जाएंगे. देन यू विल नो कि अच्छा ये यूट्यूबर है जो ML ops के बारे में ही बात करता है, या ये पर्टिकुलर न्यूज़लेटर है that focuses only on AI ops, या this is something that focuses only on vibe coding. So then you will focus your energy, your attention on only those things. तो वो एक काफी फोकस टाइप की लर्निंग हो जाएगी. So yeah, I mean that's it. That's what I do. Like platform engineering, AI, this is the intersection of what I want to learn. And मैं सिर्फ इन्हीं चीजों पे फोकस करता हूँ. Everything else is just news. if I have free time, I'll probably spend some time on it. But otherwise, it's only the areas that I want to focus on.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So that what is that required? Just focus on that and just little bit here and there and just keep, because when we go in the depth, it always deviate from the main stuff, right?
Correct.
Great, great. So it was wonderful discussion really, and personally I learned a lot, and hopefully there are a lot of things are there because discussion never end. So maybe next time we will again connect and discuss some more on the other topic which are relevant to the audience. So definitely, and thank you so much for giving so much time. I asked for 1 hour, but it stretched to up to 2 hours. But really, it was very interesting and lot of learning in this session.
No,
And
great, Ed. Thank you so much, and I hope this helps your audience and everyone else, who's watching this. Shameless plug: KubeCon is happening next to next week. Make sure to go to Mumbai.
yeah,
I'm sure everyone watching this would have had the tickets. Go there, attend the talks, meet the maintainers. Understand what the projects are there. Uh, just go there, talks, meet people. I'm sure there's a lot of learnings over there as well.
yeah. So that was my last question. Like, if anyone first comer or first anyone is going to attend the first time, how they should utilize, because I personally get confused in the first KubeCon, like इतने सारे sessions हैं where I need to focus. So
I think again, so if you see all my answers will come back to one thing: your focus, your category, what your interest area is.
yeah,
Right? So if you are interested, let's say you spoke about Kivarna, right? So your interest area probably is security and governance.
yeah,
So anything that is related to security or governance is where you should go probably, because that's your interest area, right? Even if you are not able to attend the talk, see if you can meet the speaker in person. क्योंकि talk तो आपको recording मिल भी जाएगी
Yeah.
YouTube पे. But that interaction with that speaker in person can make a lot of difference depending on who they are, what they have done, what they're talking about, right? So about talks, figure out your interest areas, identify a list of talks. You cannot attend all the talks. Definitely कुछ ना कुछ miss
Right.
होगा. And that's completely fine. Come back home, watch the videos later, but then pick up 1 or 2 talks that you genuinely want to attend. If you want to meet people who are going to attend KubeCon, message them in advance. Tell them that, hey, I want to meet you at KubeCon. Let's catch up, sort of. So, you have that connect there. So even if, especially people who are busy or who that they'll be busy, right?
Yeah.
Reach out to them well in advance. Tell them, yeah, I'm coming there. Can we catch up for like 5 minutes? Go talk to them. If you have questions handy, keep questions handy to ask people. Especially if if they are people, some senior folks over there, always have some questions to ask them or to discuss with them, because those are the moments that you won't get. So you can ask a forward-looking statement. You can ask about why a tech does something. Like whenever I meet Kelsey, I always ask him about community and DevRel. I'm like, how do you do this? Because he has done it so well and he has done it so beautifully. I always just go to him and I'm like, okay, tell me more about how should I be handling communities, or how should I be dealing with AI and Kubernetes, right? So Kelsey always has some really good input. So I always make a point whenever he's there, I try to meet him. So yeah.
amazing. So the last question was very interesting. Like, people who is going to attend the KubeCon India Mumbai, that is on 18 and 19 June, hopefully will utilize this trick, like how to get benefit from the conference, to attend some interested talks and just ask question to the person to get insight. So thank you so much. It was great. It was really amazing talking to you, and lot of insights is there. Personally, I will also watch this video. I think going to watch multiple times because lot of things are there to learn.
Great, yeah. Thank you so much. And yeah, I hope you have a good time ahead, good time at KubeCon. And let's catch up.
Yeah, see you in Mumbai in the couple of weeks.
Sure.
Okay, bye bye.
Yeah.